Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the debut of Turf Wars 2, a North American team league. For anyone who's unfamiliar, it's run by Rogues Gallery. Casting tonight is myself, Keen, my co-caster, Shafir, and our wonderful observer, Sudo. For anyone who's unfamiliar with Turf Wars 1, it is like I said, a North American team league. 2 weeks ago now, actually, we had a draft of all players who, players who were able to play in previous Rogues Gallery events, as well as a couple invites. And there was a draft. So there's 4 teams of 4 players each, and they're each going to be playing every week, Friday night at this time live, with the exception of, if players have scheduling issues, then they can pre-play, but most of the games will be played live. So very exciting. And yeah, as you can see, our lineups tonight are actually just incredible. Every match is going to be really, really exciting. I can't wait to see the games. What do you think, Shafir?
Oh no, man. Yeah, we had the draft. It was a group of it was like the top players in NA plus Crane, and yeah, I'm really excited. I took a look at some of the matchups, and that's when I agreed to cast this, so it was after I saw the games, and I'm really really excited to see some. So I'm hyped, man. I'm excited. There's a lot of shit talk in the NA scene in the back end and these different various discords, and there's a lot of XYZ wouldn't win. So I'm kind of excited to see how these games go, and they actually have to put their money where their mouth is.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do want to mention too that we did reach our donation goal at $800. We're generously sponsored for $500 additional dollars from Esports Fund, and so our total prize pool is $1,000, with $300 going towards production. And so thank you again for everyone who donated. 4 donations actually went towards naming the 4 teams: Smack Squad, Revival, Dogecoin Millionaires, and Fancy Scarves. So
it's a Dogecoin.
Oh, Dogecoin. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm not.
You're so uncultured.
I'm not up on the meme coins, unfortunately.
What do you mean meme coins? What does that mean?
But yeah, thank you again for everyone who donated, including Shafir himself, as well as Suto. We really appreciate all the support from everyone to meet our goals and help support the North American scene. And I also want to announce that we will be running a fundraiser for Rogue City Rumble 2, which is Rogues Gallery's individual team league, North American team league, throughout the Turf Wars 2 season. So we're really looking forward to that. It will be starting shortly after the Turf Wars 2 season ends.
Yeah, man, I'm super excited. You want to talk about these teams at all? I did sponsor a team. My team is the Smack Squad, and if you wonder why they're called the Smack Squad, you just have to look at the team. It's look at that roster, man. We got Crossy, we got Hit 'Em Up, we got Jae-yoon, we got Whip, and yeah, man. And I know Sudo, our observer tonight, he sponsored the Fancy Scarves. He knew he couldn't call themselves the Smack Squad. So aren't you on a team, Keen?
Yeah, I'm on a mysterious, anonymously donated team, the Dogecoin Millionaires. So, I understand whoever donated to this team probably doesn't want anyone to know their identity because, they don't want their friends and relatives going after them for loans and stuff. After their newfound fortune with this ridiculous casino, Bitcoin type stuff.
Casino.
Oh, sorry. It's it's all very just astute investing.
I'm a cultured and fundamentals investor. Investor.
But yeah, like you were saying, there's a lot of memes going along in these team names. If anyone is not familiar with the North American scene. But yeah, our first match this week will be Smack Squad. Like you said, Cross, Jae-yoon, and Whip especially, all part of the Jae-yoon Discord. And there has been a lot of talk about smacking and blasting. Really, it boils down to like the North American players can't actually cut it at the international level, so they have to resort to just beating up on new players in their own little discords.
Wow, who am I talking? Who's my co-caster here? Is this Avi Love? Yeah, no, there's a we keep track of smacks and smacks and blasts. And yeah, Jae-yoon has his own little dojo coming, and excited to see how he fares up against the revival team, which is basically Nas plus Tim. I think they initially wanted to go with Nasty until someone gave them a better name.
Yeah, but coming in at the very last minute is the revival of Brood War, a mysterious another anonymous organization actually. Who knows who is behind that one? But yeah, really really great by them. I hear there's even talk of giving them revival of Brood War, themed shirts or something. But yeah, really really neat.
I mean, I
Um,
feel like we've done enough favors. I mean, we agreed to put Mars on the team. We let Crane be eligible for drafting. There's a lot of favors being handed out, I think.
yeah, yeah. I mean, Mars is definitely a charity case for sure. I don't think anyone is expecting him to win any games anytime soon, but who knows? We could see a few upsets here and there.
Yeah, I mean, I doubt it, but maybe. You don't want to rule it out.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we won't be seeing Mars tonight.
I mean, naturally, but yeah. Do you want to talk about these lineups? What do we?
Yeah, like I said, so the first match tonight will actually be Smack Squad versus Revival. Um, the maps for this first set of round robins, each team will play each other once. So for the next 3 weeks, these map lineups will be set, but the lineups will change each week, obviously. So first is Polaris Rhapsody, um, like this wonderful slide. By the way, all this art was done by our wonderful artist Balance and Strom Carlin, and I I love this newspaper sort of theme. It's so fucking cool.
No,
Um,
it's really old school. It's astute, just like my Dogecoin investing. Like it's really sick. Yeah, man, these lineups look amazing.
yeah, so starting Polaris, kind of an old map, but it was recently brought back for the most recent ASL. It's a two-player map. It does have corner bases with two gases, so potentially if Zerg can secure one of those bases, Zerg could be very strong on just three bases, but it is kind of wide open, the third expansion on the corners. And yeah, I don't know. Personally, I find it very difficult to play on, but we'll see how Crossy and Machine deal with it tonight. Then there's Ultimate Stream, Ascension, and then Polypoid and Eclipse, of course, are Polypoid and Eclipse have been around for a while now. Basically, the most bog standard 4-player and 2-player maps around. Ultimate Stream and Ascension are both new ASL maps as well, though brand new. And I haven't really seen very many games in the foreign scene on them yet. I haven't seen a decent chunk of the ASL played on them. How do you feel about those two maps?
Yeah, we haven't seen the foreign scene play a lot on them. I've seen a couple of games here and there, but I think this is the first time we're seeing it in like a foreign tournament to be played a lot, at least by NA players. I'm kind of excited. I like them. I think they bring a lot of exciting games. I think I think Ultimate Stream is that the one with the high ground natural? It's a blue map.
Yeah, yeah, it's a Twilight tile set. Yeah, and it actually Zergs have been going far natural a lot on this map because the naturals are very easy to SimCity. The third, the kind of natural third expansions, the closer third expansions are a little exposed. So I think Zergs have been just kind of taking the map advantages and bringing back a little bit of an old school style, which is really interesting to me. So I'm wondering if Hawk will pull that out against Scarlet tonight. But
Yeah, I actually got to see Hawk and Scarlet on that map before, and yeah, that's actually what he went with the last time they played. So at least the last time that I saw, so it's definitely a pretty valid strategy. Ultimate Stream seems like if they took Ringing Bloom and they fix a lot of the bad parts of it, you keep the high ground, you keep the blue, you keep the eggs, but then you move the natural over and change a little bit of the footing to make it a little more even. But it seems like a really fun map. I don't really like watching that Camp Zerg style, but let's see if Scarlet has an answer if that's the way Hawk goes.
yeah, for sure. As far as the PVTs, I honestly haven't seen very many PVTs on Ultimate Stream, so Dragon against Hit 'em Up will be a little bit of a mystery to me. We'll have to see what happens with that matchup. But then Ascension is another cool map. It's kind of based on the old 2-player map Blue Storm, but transferred into a 3-player map and obviously tinkered with a little bit. Um, and it's kind of another interesting. I kind of like playing on ZVP myself because you can get away with like 11 hatch or 12 hatch pretty safely. the rush distances aren't too long, and there's very little threat of getting cannon rushed.
Here's a question: what's happening on Polypod? Is this a team melee? Is this a 2v2?
Right, I totally forgot to mention that. Good point. Yeah, so in the previous um, Turf Wars season one, we had 3 1v1s, an ace match, and 1 2v2. We've actually done away with the 2v2 matches, and we're introducing a team melee, kind of a new little quirk. But a lot of the North American players have played a decent chunk of team melee. It's kind of a really fun um, play mode, and if anyone is unfamiliar with it, it's you basically share control of the units with another person. So it's like a 1v1, but one person usually will do all the macro, and then another person will take over the micro. So you can kind of push the boundaries of Brood War performance, right? So
Yeah, no, we've seen a lot of team melee is sick because there's no multitasking issue, right? You have one guy handling micro, you have one guy handling an overlord. It's usually me. I'm trolling the overlord, and another person handling the macro. I know. Last night I think Jayun, Crossy, and Striker did a team melee versus Larva, and 2-0 Larva's Protoss.
yeah,
Did you get a chance to watch that?
I missed that, but I do know they've also played, I think, Shiny recently, and before that they've played several high level amateur and semi pro Protosses, and as well as the Terran Sharp, I think, and they've done pretty well against all of those players. So yeah, naturally Crossy and Jayun are probably feeling pretty confident in their own team melee skills, but I know Dragon and Sugo are both close friends, so I'm going to guess that they also have quite a very very good synergy. So yeah, I'm really excited to see how the team melee matches pan out this week. Actually, um, uh, just another reason too we have to do it live, by the way, because replays, unfortunately, for team melee don't work. You can just add that to the stack of Blizzard letdowns.
Can't blame Blizzard. Just technology just isn't there yet. I'm really excited to see Team Melee. This is the first time I think that I've seen it in a big tournament, and I'm hype. I'm hype, man. I want to see what these guys have. I know they've been practicing, and it's only going to make the play better, man. Imagine if you had somebody like me controlling just an Overlord. I mean,
That would be
I lost it that one time, but
that
like
would just be
most
out
of the
of this
time I
world.
wouldn't. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, imagine sometimes not losing Overlord. That's completely game changing, honestly.
No, it definitely elevates your play though, especially if you have multiple high level players. So obviously myself exclusive, but it's yeah, man, I'm I'm excited and I love this map pool. I love the players here. I love these matchups tonight, man. I'm hyped.
Yeah, absolutely. And the one caveat to the team melee is that you know you do have to be on the same page with your teammate. Not that that'll be a problem for any of our teams, because I'm sure they've all been practicing very hard together. So yeah, definitely don't worry about them not being on the same page.
Yeah, unless it's Crossy and Jayun. If you ever seen
Well,
these guys talk to each other.
yeah. In fact, the more they play with each other, the more they'll probably argue. So
Yeah.
maybe it's best
Yes.
that they don't practice.
Probably be a good strategy for their opponents to just elongate the game and just let them bicker.
Absolutely, absolutely. One thing I will say too is that I honestly think that Zerg, and this is coming from a completely unbiased perspective, but I think that Zerg is really bad in team melee.
Why is that so? I mean, it looks like Jayun and Crossy and Striker have been doing a good job with it.
Yeah, that's because they're the three against the one.
I mean, yeah, but it's like larva and shiny.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see let's see how at the end of the season we can revisit this conversation, and we can check out the race statistics and see how Zerg does against Protoss and Terran.
I mean, yeah, listen, I've seen you take 50-50 race statistics, paste a screenshot and tell me it's 75-25. Like literally lie to my face in a screenshot I can see. So you may be a little biased.
Ah, I'm just rounding up. Okay, don't worry about it. But it looks like we'll be getting into our first match shortly. Tim versus Crossy on Polaris Rhapsody. I'm really interested to see how this works out.
Yeah, same. I know Tim's been practicing PVZ. I think it's his favorite matchup to play. I might be wrong. I know he likes to cheese in PVT, but I'm excited.
Wow, just laying down the gauntlet, huh? He's a cheeser in PvT.
Well, he's not. He plays standard PVT, but if you ask Kartosis, I've heard stories.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you were close friends with Artosis.
Oh
Um,
no, I just watched his stream and
oh, okay,
yeah.
okay, okay. Well, anyway, we'll have our Zerg Crossy in top left and our red Protoss Tim in bottom right. I will note that this was the one game this week that had to be pre-played, so Tim has the outdated tag. This is before Revival of Brood War stepped up to sponsor. But yeah, have you played Polaris yourself much?
Not too much. I played a couple of games. I played against you once or twice. And overall, and I've watched a lot of games on it. I know that it's like an ASL map right now, and it's played also in the Race Wars. So I've definitely seen a bunch of PVZs on it. Yeah. What are your thoughts on this map?
Well, I think it's kind of tough for Zerg, honestly. But wow, that's a 7 pylon.
Is it?
Yeah. So what does this indicate to you? Is this a
I don't think it's a 7 pylon. It's a regular pylon.
really? Okay, I could have sworn he got it a little early, but maybe I'm just yeah. Okay. Never mind. So he is coming very early though. So I guess that this indicates to me that it's going to be a Forge expand actually.
Yeah, definitely. If you send your probe after the first pylon, most of the time it's going to be a forge opener. I know Tim likes to find maps where he can do a Nexus first. I don't think this is one of those maps, and he's going to come in and he's going to see this overpull from the Zerg, so he's going to put a forge down and Nexus. So I mean, yeah, pretty standard start. What are your thoughts when a Protoss goes forge first
Well,
versus the common gateway?
honestly, I usually find it more comfortable, but it's also like it's so much more rare than gate fast expanded nowadays. So I feel like my builds are kind of less refined as they used to be.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm honestly, I think. Do you think going Nexus first against Overpool is actually that dangerous here? Because I mean, the rush distances are kind of long.
Yeah, I mean, if you were to go Nexus first, so you probably wouldn't want to send the first probe. You would want to keep that to mind just to make sure you get that Nexus and that forge up as early as possible. So as soon as you sent that, right after pylon, and you noted like the probe looked a little early, you probably wasn't going to be able to get away with the Nexus first. I know Tim likes it, but I don't think Tim's also not like dumb, right? So
Right.
yeah, and we see him, and we see the standard, 13 Nex, 13 cannon, and he's probably going to go and put a gateway pylon gas after this display standard opener.
Right. 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 And Crossy going for a gas around 240, so he's just going to go into a 3-hatch Spire into most likely 5-hatch Hydra here. Yeah, like I said, the one good thing about playing against Forge Fast Expand is you take very little. There's essentially no pressure very early game, right? So you can go right into your Spire tech, your layer tech, without worrying about any kind of zealot pressure. You'll get a very healthy economy, and your third expansion up for free. I do think that Tim is a little bit of an underdog in this matchup, and I know that Crossy is really known for his like early game aggression and like good Ling micro.
Mhm.
So I think Tim might have been a little intimidated by that. So he just wants to get his expansion down without worrying about it, and get to whatever Zealot +1/+1 timing push, or like Sarah DT timing that he wants to hit early game.
Right. I mean, so we saw that Crossy put down his gas before his third hatch. We know that Crossy likes to play aggressive, right? Just like you were mentioning earlier. And we see the Hydra den. I was just gonna ask this: like, do you think you're gonna see Crossy going Hydras? Because I know that there's a lot of Zerg, especially the more aggressive ones. They see a Forge, they just go 973. And I think Crossy is one of those guys that has that sort of kill sense. And so maybe do you think that's what we're gonna see, or is this just gonna be like the fake Hydra where you make it 7 or 8 Hydras, but then you switch over into another hatchery and a bunch of drones?
Honestly, I think Crossy is one of the best 3-hatch Hydra players outside of Korea. So I do think it will be 973, and he will have that mix up available to him if he wants to go into macro or make it all in. That's the real strength of going 973, and denying this probe scout is actually huge too. Like Tim still doesn't know what's going on. His Stargate just dropped, and honestly, I'm kind of worried for Tim here. This is a little worrisome. I feel like Crossy's almost done droning. He has a couple more drones to make at his third, but yeah, Hydra speed is already almost finished. He's going to start producing Hydras. Tim, it should be a little tipped off here that these Lings don't have speed yet, but still, he has no real information. And if Crossy hits the right timing, that cannon is very exposed. But yeah, Tim is a little paranoid here, adding a second cannon.
Well, I know that as a Protoss, right? If I don't see link speed at this point and I see 2, 3 drones at this point with at the third, I just assume. I just assume it's Hydras. We know that Tim didn't get the scout, but I think Tim will probably start preparing as if he's going to get Hydra busted. We see the second cannon as a safety cannon. I don't know where his Stargate is at right now, so yeah, his Corsair is halfway done, so it's going to be a little late, right? We see Hydras already coming out of the third, the natural in the third. So yeah, I mean, Tim might have this up too late. I don't know what his natural looks like in terms of room for cannons. I don't know if we can take a look at that here.
Well,
But
the,
he actually has plenty of room.
yeah, the one thing about Polaris that makes me in particular not be crazy about 3H Hydra on it is that there is a ton of room for cannons, and usually the wells are pretty forward too, so it's kind of hard to snipe both the gateway and the forge. So I think if you do want to go 3H Hydra, it kind of, if you can catch the Protoss off guard, it's better just to kill them.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
at least
definitely. Do you think he's caught Tim off guard here? What do we think?
I do think these cannons are a little late, but Tim is buying time with those zealots very nicely. And yeah, Crossy, I don't know, he's kind of bleeding hydras a little bit here. And
Yeah,
that third cannon up, I think he's totally fine now, honestly.
yeah, Tim looks very safe. It looks like Cross is already transitioning. He's put down a fourth hatchery. He didn't make that many hydras, so he's actually just fine. We see. I don't know. Oh, he actually has more hydras coming, and Tim's got to keep this Corsair alive because he's got to know when the drone when the larva starts switching to hydras or when it starts switching to drones. So we see a layer starting up, so it doesn't look like Cross is going all in. But do we know if Tim knows that? I don't know if Tim saw that layer.
Yeah, Tim flew over the third. Well, I think he did see the layer. He was definitely over that when he saw the layer morphing. But Krusty's actually still supply blocked here. So Tim still only sees 3 drones at the third. He might think that it's still kind of an all in, and Krusty is still actually making hydras.
Is that
So
right?
I'm actually surprised, but let's see what he can do
This is
here.
way too many cannons. I think Cross has got to back up here.
Yeah, I'm surprised he even got those 2 cannons in front, and now he has a window to
Oh.
actually kill the forge. But
He just wanted to take those cannons out so he could shoot down the forge because cannons have that great range. I think. Oh, but the +1 finishes. So Crossy missed that window. He should have done that 10 seconds ago.
I honestly think he didn't even. I'm not sure that Tim even had to sacrifice that forge there because he had like 7 zealots and there was only 7 hydras.
Oh well, once the +1 is done, you don't need to keep the forge, right? I mean, you
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
sacrifice your zealots to
that,
save the
that's fair.
forge.
That's fair.
Yeah, and we see Tim moving out now with these zealots. We see his Corsair is still alive, which is great. Do these zealots have speed? They do. So Tim transitioning into, I think I see a lot of gateways in his main right here. So he's going to try to put a lot of pressure on after this, and which is a great counter. So you can go 2 ways, right? You can go straight into tech, try to get High Templar or drop, or you can add a bunch of gateways and put a lot of pressure on the Zerg in case they start over droning, because you
Yeah,
definitely don't want to just sit back and let the Zerg chill.
yeah, and I think Tim is going to go for a very heavy zealot pressure build here, like real zealot man type stuff, because as Pseudo just pointed out, there isn't even a Templar archives yet for Tim, and he hasn't even taken his second gas. He's literally only spending minerals right now.
Yeah, no, I think I, I think obviously Crossy sees what's happening here, and he's just making the bare minimum of hydras needed to survive. If Crossy can get out of this without any damage, I think he's in a great position for the mid game.
Yeah, absolutely, but it's a really really hard position for Zerg at this point, and I'm not sure if the Crossy like Crossy wants to be making drones right now, but Tim is just going to be putting on constant pressure with all these zealots. Uh, Look at all those gateways. That's 7 gateways. You know, he could use maybe one more, and his probe count is okay. He probably wants to have at least like 7 more probes at this point, but it's still a fine number. Crossy still has to keep making all these hydras. He's only on 25 drones.
Yeah,
I don't
that's the great part of this build by Tim here, because you don't really ever let the Zerg drone, right? Crossy wants to make more drones. He's at 27. He'd love to go up to 40, but he just can't because you're gonna die to zealots, zealot man over here if you don't. And the thing about Protoss is he can keep making probes. And we see he just made another round, so he's at 40. You really just want to be at 42, 44 when you're on 2 bases PVZ. So I think Tim's at a good healthy number. I think he can get a lot of pressure done here. He's backing up these zealots and I'm probably reaccumulating with his with the next round.
Yeah, just waiting for these 6 more zealots to reinforce. I don't know. I'm kind of worried for Crossy. I think Tim might have done it a little bit here. His +1 armor is already finished, but Crossy does have mutas on the way, and Tim hasn't even made any archons yet, as far as I know. He lost his one Corsair, so if he's not ready for this Muta switch, it could actually do catastrophic damage. But
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Does he have any cannons in his natural? Um, yeah, we see two going. No, those are pylons and an observatory. Yeah, so this could really kill Tim here.
I'm actually shocked. Does he just expect Crossy to go straight into Lurker?
I'm
Let's
not
see
sure. I'm not
what
sure
we
you had
could
a
actually
plan for
make.
either lurk. I mean, yeah. I guess you make the Robo in case you're expecting lurker, but Crossy just pulling out the strength of Zerg, which is whatever tech you want at any time.
Yeah, and I'm sure that those three meters, 5 meters now are really going to make quick work of the 24 zealots that Tim has steamrolling into Crossy's natural.
Yeah, that's I mean, there's only 3 meters. It doesn't matter if you can't shoot air. If there's 50 of you, right? You kill every drone before the. So yeah, I think Tim might have pulled this off here, man. We see the Evo chamber going down, the third going down. He's got zealots in the natural, and he's probably queuing up a lot of dragoons or zealots or whatever else. It could be zealots. Yeah, he's got zealots and high templars. I think Tim might have been able to pull this off. We see 2 Archons coming up. I mean, if he had a, if he had like 12 mutas and like great control, yeah, he does have great control, but I don't. I think those 2 Archons are going to be plenty for cleaning up Crossy here.
Yeah, the really scary part isn't the first, 2 or 3 or 4 waves of zealots. It's the the 5th or 6th wave that come with like 4 Archons. And
Yeah,
I mean, I'm being partially facetious here, but like Crossy wasn't able to mine at his third for quite a while, and he's still only on 27 drones. He's over 15 workers below the Protoss. This is really, really tough position. I don't think he's even started his +1 range for Hydras, so his upgrades are going to be super, super late. Yeah, his Evo died. His 5th hatchery died. I mean, these mutas are going to be annoying, but they can't actually kill these 3 Archons, and there's really no like land army to speak of or Sunkens to focus them down when they do finally get to the Protoss base.
yeah. We see Crossy desperately trying to buy time so he can drone up a little. We see he's up to 34 drones, but I definitely think as long as Tim keeps up the pressure, he can even probably start setting up a third here because there's no counterplay to him right now. Crossy can't be aggressive. And yeah, we see Tim trying to eye the third. He's trying to make sure he doesn't take too much damage from these mutas. And I don't see anything Crossy has. He's got one sunken, one creep, and about 8 hydras. I don't think that's enough here, man.
He is trying to focus these Archons with the Hydras and the one Sunken that's morphed already, but I'm not sure if it's going to be enough really, because these Zealots are just going to have free reign to just attack the hatchery, to kill all the drones, and it takes mutas so long to kill Zealots.
Yeah, we do see that he cleaned up the Archons, which is amazing. He's got 11 mutas, but I think these Zealots are going to take out this hatchery here. And there's only so much as Zerg can do off two bases. Meanwhile, we see Tim setting up for a third. Yeah, and I think he's eventually got to switch over to Dragoons, but I think Tim's in a great position. I don't think unless he throws this game, we see Dragoon range halfway done. And yeah, he's probably gonna need another couple of high tempo. We see one popping out now, but yeah, Tim's setting up great for the mid game. If he can set up this third, and he just played a game of deny the third, deny the fourth, and by the 23, 24 minute mark.
Yeah, Zerg is so crippled off of just 2 bases. It's really, really hard to keep up with the Protoss. But then again, he does have a lot of mutas in the Protoss base right now. But if he can kill like a significant number of probes, maybe he could claw his way back in.
Yeah, I guess that's the best play here, man. He canceled Tim's third. He's wiping out the mineral line. Tim's lost a lot of probes. He's down to 32 probes. There's still a way back for Crossy in this game if Tim loses a lot of more probes, man. If you go down to about 25 probes, I think this is still possible for the Zerg.
Yeah. I don't know. The mutas did take a lot of damage, but they killed, like you said, 10 probes. A very kind of awkward position. But Tim does have a lot of banked minerals right now, so I think he'll probably be fine. And if he can finally get that mineral only that he was angling to pick up earlier established, then he has a very easy time taking that extra 4th base at 3 o'clock. So he'll have a clear pathway into the late game, whereas Crossy is still kind of just like pulling damage control right now and just trying to survive.
Yeah, we see Tim at 2-1, which is a very powerful upgrade combination. I think he took down a bunch of Evo chambers. I don't think the Zerg has very good upgrades. And yeah, we see the Zerg is at 1-0. So yeah, I mean it's Tim's game to lose. Crossy did do a lot of good damage, but if Tim secures his main, put some cannons down, I think he's gonna be okay. And yeah, and he's he's desperately trying to set up this third just to secure this game. We see was that a burrowed Ling? That
Uh,
wasn't right. I just imagined that.
no, I don't think that was a burrowed Ling, but I didn't actually see for sure. That would be a really strange thing for Crossy to pull
Yeah, you're just barely surviving, and you pull up a burrow trying to get the display
But
points.
wow, Crossy's still doing so much work with these mutas. It's actually insane. Just sniping down these cannons, and Tim, it's so hard to deal with these mutas over these ridges. So Tim is just having none of it. He's just going straight for Crossy's base. He's going to try to kill this third again, and he's just saying, whatever, you can kill some of my probes, but I'm just going to kill you.
Yeah, exactly. We saw the Dragoons are pretty futile trying to get in the back of that mineral line, trying to hit these mutas. So yeah, Tim is just going. You know what? You can't attack me with mutas if you have to defend your whole base. So and that's exactly what he's doing. He's going, and there's not that many hydras. There's probably about 15 hydras. Tim's got the high ground. We see like no real saturation. There's one drone at the third. Tim going for the killing move here, and yeah, Crossy realizes he can't defend. He's going for the counter, seeing if he can eliminate Tim first. Let's see, man. Let's see if Crossy can get this done. I think that's his only chance.
Yeah, but I don't think a base trade scenario is almost always not a great spot for Zerg to be in my opinion. I mean,
Well, I mean, in your opinion, no situation is good for Zerg, but we see Crossy did turn around, coming across this narrow bridge and eating a storm to the face. Yeah, man, this is Tim really playing out of his mind today, man.
yeah, I'm actually, like I said, Tim was an underdog going into this match, so he's doing amazingly, honestly. And yeah, Crossy GG's. There was really no recourse for him at the end there. But yeah, Tim, like you said, playing just out of his mind. Really impressive performance.
Yeah, absolutely. We see Team Revival going up 1-0, and their next champion is Dragon, who you could debate is probably could be the best player in NA, right? He's in the conversation, so I think a Revival is probably feeling really good going into this game. And now we're gonna go into live games for the rest of the night, right?
Yeah, I'm not so sure how this match in particular will end up because I know that Hitema was actually having some last minute scheduling problems. Um, so I'm not sure if he's actually around for this match. And I do know that even though Whip on his team also played Terran, he also couldn't show up on short notice. So we'll have to see if this is actually still happening. But yeah, Dragon is definitely one of, at the very least, like top 3-4 North American players. He got second place in the first Rogue City Rumble that just finished a couple months ago. But yeah, he's a force to be reckoned with. He's a perennial contender in the BSL Pro League. I think he got to round of 16 this season, but he ended up getting knocked out in a really, really difficult group.
Yeah. I watched that. He played some sick games, man. But BSL gets really really tough once you're talking about the top 16, top 8, top 4, and he played bonkers, man. I
It
guess we're
does
gonna. Mhm.
it does kind of seem like Hit 'em Up isn't around right now, so unfortunately, I think we might be seeing a walkover here.
Walkover. Wow. Okay. So that puts the Revival up 2-0, right? Is that right?
Yeah, they would be up 2-0. So it is a best of 5. We will play all 4 matches, but we won't play an ace match.
I bet Crane is out there thinking, should have drafted a guy who would have.
Yeah. I mean, on paper, Hit 'em Up is a really good pick because he's gotten himself into the Pro League, BSL Pro League rather. He was also playing in the last Rogue City Rumble, but
Yeah,
yeah,
man, hit him up. Show some great MMR. He's like always in the conversation. He's always up there. Yeah, man, we don't play these games on paper, man. You gotta play the games. I was kind of excited. I haven't really seen too much of him play, so I'm a little disappointed. But I'm still hyped for the team melee, and we still got Jayun coming up. We still got more games, so still gonna be sick.
yeah, absolutely. I'm very disappointed too, especially considering tonight's games were actually flipped. Originally, it was supposed to be um, my team against Striker's team, but I
These
think
teams have names.
yeah,
You're talking about the Dogecoin millionaires versus the fancy
sorry.
scarves.
That's right, the Dogecoin millionaires versus the fancy scarves. Yeah, but I think Jaeyoon actually had some scheduling issues, so we flipped the games around and we asked everyone, like, is everyone cool with it? But I mean, things last minute issues come up. It's, no one can account for all that.
Are we going to the team melee game now?
Yeah, it looks like yeah. So it's official. Dragon was given a walkover win, and we will be going into the team melee.
I'm excited. It's going to be Jaeyoon and Crossy. What is the opposing team?
Jaeyoon and Crossy versus Dragon and Sugo.
That's right. It's going to be Team Nas versus Nas and Crossy. But yeah, I know that Jaeyoon and Crossy have been playing team melee together along with Striker the last couple days. And yeah, what do you think about PVZ? And it's going to be PVZ, right?
Yeah, PVZ for sure. Sugo and Dragon, like I said, they're both close friends, as far as I know, at least. They're on the same NAS team. They both play Protoss, so I do think they're both mainly 1v1 players. I think they usually don't mess around with like sort of the silly non-standard game modes. So maybe they're not that experienced with team melee in particular, but given the fact that they both play the same race and they're both friends, I feel like they'll probably have pretty good synergy. And in PvZ, I honestly think that Protoss has an advantage against Zerg. Um, Obviously, every race in team melee is potentially really strong, but when you have just like one player microing like Sares around, for example,
Mm-hmm.
it's really tough to deal with. Um, like one of the plus sides about playing ZVP 1v1 is that there's only like a few players in the world who can really take advantage of like Corsairs to their fullest potential, or like High Templar and DT drops to their fullest potential. And one of them is like Bisu, probably the best Protoss player of all time, right?
Oh, 100%. I know there's some people that disagree, but some people are wrong in every topic. So that's fine.
And yeah, it's just an insane, it's a multitask intensive race and matchup. So when you have two players playing that against Zergs, I just feel like Protoss has the advantage, but we'll have to see.
And just a quick correction: we're not definitely going to play all 4 games. The first team to 3 wins is going to win. Revival is up 2-0 here. I do know Drag doesn't. You're right about the other formats, and Drag doesn't play other formats. Right? He doesn't play UMS. He's not out. I heard he doesn't even observe games. Like if he's not playing, he's not about it. You hit him up when the game starts. And so I'm excited. I'm hoping to see what he looks like. I mean, his PVZ is incredible. Think it's probably his best matchup. I don't know for sure, but from what I've seen, that's what I believe it is. So I'm hyped to see how that shows, especially if he'll have Sugo and as his teammate here.
Yeah, absolutely. So team melee match on Polypoid. We will have our Zerg in bottom right with Jaeyoon and Crossy, and our Protosses in bottom left with Sugo and Dragon. And yeah, my apologies. We will be ending at 3 matches if Team Drag wins here.
I mean, you can't. You're a liar. You can't help it. We
It's just
see.
nature.
We see Jaden and Crossy, the Zerg team. They're scouting the wrong way to begin with, so we see the Overlord going vertically. I'm excited to see. I mean, given that you have Team Melee, right? Does the Protoss want to avoid going for gate first? Because once you get Lings in your main, like you'll have literally a guy. His entire job is an S rank guy whose entire job is to control 2 Lings, 3 Lings in your main, and that can completely ruin a game for Protoss. I expect him to go Forge.
I don't know, man. Honestly, I would, in most scenarios, just absolutely disagree with you. But I honestly don't know how Sugo plays. I do know Dragon is a little. I mean, I think he does gate expand nowadays mostly, but I do know he was partial to Forge Fast expand for a long time. And Crossy is just notorious for having really sick and aggressive early Ling plays. So if Crossy is the guy who's microing, and all his job is like you said, to be microing Lings around in your base, he could make life hell even for 2 players at once. And
Yeah, and we
there
see
you
the
go.
Forge. Yeah, I mean, you don't want to let those Lings in your base, not in a team melee game. It just makes your life much harder than it needs to be. You're better off just putting the Forge down and playing defensive. You don't want Lings in your main in a team melee PvZ, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And I respect that decision. I do think that both, like gate fast expand is also a very viable choice, obviously, in team melee. If you have one person who's just microing zealots around and making Zerg's life hell, that's also very, very strong. But I guess it doesn't take that much multitasking to just sit a zealot behind Zerg's minerals. So maybe Forge
Yeah,
is
your bias definitely isn't showing off here. Um, yeah, no, I've always heard that it's if the Zerg gets two lings into the Protoss's main, the Zerg is behind because most Zergs can't multitask. But in Team Melee, obviously that's not the case. We see the cannon going down. This is a bit of an odd. We see the Jane and Crossy actually delayed this Nexus because typically you want to put this Nexus down before the cannon, right? But we see this Nexus still isn't up yet. We're at 16 right now for the Protoss.
Yeah, honestly, I kind of missed it a little bit. Was their probe scout just a little late, so they were just being extra careful?
I'm not quite sure. I don't think it was that late. Yeah, you were red in the eyes because you started talking about Protoss.
Yeah,
As most
I just
people
can't
get.
concentrate.
Yeah, I think what happened was it looks like the drone denied the Nexus for a little bit, and so they just made more probes, and then finally they've made it. They made their Nexus. It won't affect them too much. It's gonna be about 10 seconds late. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, what difference does it make if you have two Nexuses as Protoss? It's not like you need them, right?
Oh man, it's a roast Protoss with unwitty lines session day, which is every day in JY Core Tilt. So I'm used to this. We see just two links coming out from Jayun and Crossy. We see them trying to make sure they're drawn up, and you don't really need more than two if you just see a probe. We see a layer going up in natural, a great trick if you don't want the probe to see your layer timing. And yeah, it looks like Crossy Jayun is going to go for a standard game here.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised actually they decided to go for a close mineral only third. Because I mean, how do you feel about that? When you're Protoss and you see Zerg taking the close mineral only, how do you feel?
I it makes me think that they're gonna go for like a 5, 6 hatch Hydra aggressive style. It you know what I mean, stay on layer tech for a very long time because they're not expecting to get a lot of gas. You can't really take the 6 o'clock, obviously. So the other option would have been the 3 o'clock. So a Zerg that takes that mineral only over that 3 o'clock definitely makes me think I'm in for like a battle Zerg, right? A mid game like Hydra lurker Muta Zerg that's not really trying to like rush over to layer. That's what this style indicates to me. What are your thoughts as a Zerg player?
No, I totally agree with you. I mean, I do think that the 3 o'clock is a little awkward to take as Zerg, and the pathing is a little wonky. But I mean, they it is team melee, so they have one guy on just micro. So I feel like they should be able to defend it against like any kind of like speed lot or DT early aggression.
And we see the Zealot getting parked, which is an S rank move. It's very difficult to execute. So I'm hype that Drag was able to do that here. And
Yeah,
a really good move. The Protoss deserves this. And we see Aspire going down. Um, we don't see a second gas, so we could probably expect to see a 3 hatch Spire, 5 hatch Hydra, maybe even a 6 hatch Hydra. I know that Crossy really likes the aggressive Hydra style.
yeah. I'm assuming I'm not 100% sure, but I would guess that Jaeyoon is macroing and Crossy is microing because I mean they're both very very high level Zerg players, right? But
Hmm
um, I would
For
say
what it's
Crossy is
worth, in the
micro.
team melee games last night, Crossy was macroing, so it might be the opposite.
Wow, that's surprising. I guess Jaeyoon is barely even a Zerg player anymore at this point, so maybe that makes more sense because Crossy's build orders will be much more crisp than someone who doesn't even play the race.
I think even from an activity standpoint, I think maybe Crossy's been a little more active than Jane recently. Jane
Oh yeah, yeah, 100%.
real life stuff plus
I
playing
really
Protoss.
like this drone trick to kind of. I'm not sure how much it even did to bug out the zealot, but it's still cute anyway.
It definitely bugs out the Zealot a lot. I've had it done to me a couple times. It lets your Zealot not attack at all, while both the drone and the Ling sort of. So you like to glitch the Zealot with the drone, and then you can start attacking the Zealot with the drone, which is completely unfair, I think. But yeah, it really screws over that Zealot. So instead of getting 3 Ling kills, you probably maybe get one. Don't try this at home, guys. It's not worth doing if you're a Zerg.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I kind of missed it. We are seeing some early zealot aggression here, but these meters are going to make short work of them. So what is the Protoss actually going for? You think? Because just wasting these zealots isn't the ideal move, in my opinion.
It looks like he's looking to play his Corsair DT, right? We see a gateway in the natural. So it's not gonna be Corsair DT. It's gonna be Drag's favorite Archon build. He's gonna go for a 2 Archon Zealot push here with Corsairs, is my guess. And it's because we see he got the early Temple Archive. We don't see him getting DTs. We see his gateway in the natural, which means he's going to morph Archons most likely. We see the core spinning, which I think is going to be for Corsair +1, which he should get if the Muta is the Zerg is going Mutas. So yeah, I think what we're going to see is Zealot Corsair Archon move out. I'm not hearing any game music, Pseudo. I don't know if that's easy to turn on or if that's a setting, but just going to point that out. And yeah, we see the first High Templars pop. Now we see a DT coming into the natural, and drones coming out right in time. He gets 2, 3, 4 drones. We see 2 gases for the Zerg here, so he's going to go heavy on the Mutas. No, we see Hydras coming out, so it might be a lurker switch. Meanwhile, we're probably seeing Archons morphing in the natural right now. Yep, we see one done, probably another on the way, and timing probably going to come out from Dragon Sugo soon.
Yeah, I think this is actually this is the best build for Zerg to do. And going Mutas and Scourge against Protoss and Team Melee, it's just so great. You force all this extra gas to go into Corsairs, you force the Templars to create Archons, and then you have one person who's just going to be perfectly droning up when they can and going up into Hydras. Meanwhile, the Mutas and the Scourge will be such a threat. So honestly, I'm really impressed with Jaeyun and Crossy's performance here, and I would put them ahead.
I kind of disagree. I mean, yeah, we see they might be ahead, but I don't know how this build will stack up against what Dragon Sugo are doing here, because you're talking about a move out with +1 Corsairs and Archons. Like, he's gonna have to get these lurkers out in time, I think, to defend. I don't even know if he has lurkers ready. We see Hydras behind hatcheries. The good thing here is that Dragon Sugo aren't gonna have any ranged units. So so maybe he is waiting for Storm here, because we see he hasn't morphed these High Templar yet. So maybe they're gonna be fine. But I don't know, man. It's hard to defend this without a lot of ground splash.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see how far the Zerg team is going to take their air advantage. If they're going to keep it with like +1 carapace and getting a lot of Scourge. They do only have 4 mutas, so it would actually take 3 volleys to kill 1 High Templar. That's not very ideal. If you have just okay, they popped a 5th one just now, so they can kill a High Templar in 2 volleys now. But they probably need some more Scourge too if they're really going to contest and thin out the Corsair numbers. But if they can manage to do that, and if they can waste storms trying to kill the mutas and then kill a couple High Templar, the Hydras don't need any lurker backup. They'll be totally fine, actually.
Yeah, I just read in chat. I'm sorry. I just read in chat that you can actually tell from the minimap who's macroing and who's microing by the boxes. So Crossy is macroing for the Zerg, and Jaeyun is microing, and Drag is macroing for Protoss, and Sugo is microing. You can just tell by the boxes where they're sort of sitting. It's pretty sick.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. That's really clever.
Yeah, man, Whip, man, he's full of the good ideas.
So there was actually Whip that told you that.
Yeah,
Whip,
yeah.
You couldn't play with your team, Whip. You have to be dishing out knowledge in Twitch chat right now. Damn.
The wrong type of knowledge too. We see the drag moving out, Dragon Sugo, but they're gonna move back. I don't think they're gonna overcommit here. I don't think he can get a lot done. We see him trying to set up for the 3rd here at the mineral only. Zerg has a lot of Hydras. We see Zerg is close to Protoss in supply. It looks about even here. He's gonna have to get some good storms. There's no
oh my god.
Oh, 6 storm there.
Those
but
were
no dragoons.
Storms.
Yeah, I mean, but these High Templar can get picked off, but we don't see the Zerg going for this. I think they might be overcommitting here because they don't have that many Zealots. There's no dragoons here. I don't think the Protoss can get much done here. I think they have to go back and reaccumulate.
Yeah, I mean, Protoss did get pushed back there a little bit, but I think they won that easily. Like those storms were just absolutely devastating. I don't know what Jaeyun rather was doing with the micro there. Maybe he was focusing on the Scourge and Mutas, but damn.
Yeah, it's tough, man. Especially honestly, like in Team Melee, when you're just doing one thing, sometimes it's hard to because you're not in a flow, right? You're just doing like this, so it's sometimes that you can be prone to different types of mistakes than you would when you're actually both macroing and microing. And a couple of times I played Team Melee, that's what I experienced. So it could definitely just be a little bit of that, but some really good storms, and I think the Protoss is in a pretty strong position here, man. And we see another meaty storm here, man. Three base Protoss versus 3 base Zerg is pretty good news for the
Yeah,
Protoss.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I totally agree with you because if you're used to playing 1v1, you get into that kind of flow state, like you mentioned, where you get into like a rhythm, of macroing and then paying attention to your units and microing and then going back to macro and everything. But when you're just doing one thing, you lose that rhythm, and it's a totally different experience.
Yeah,
So it
yeah.
does take quite a bit of time to really get into that mindset. But yeah, I think Protoss is doing great right now. They're 30 supply up. They've secured their mineral only. Zerg is just now working towards getting their fourth base and getting that third gas up. So they're going to be really like pumping the layer heavy hydras for the foreseeable future. I don't know if they're on +2 yet. Um, not even on +2, so that's a little delayed, I think. But yeah, I don't know. I think Zerg might be in trouble here.
Yeah, I mean, we see the Zerg starting to set up for the mid to the late game. We see him taking his gas mid right, and you can start if you look at the mini map, you see the orange dots going everywhere. He's setting up his overlords to sort of see the entire map with the Zerg map hack for the late game. So yeah, and meanwhile, Protoss setting up mid left. So I think we got to get ready for a bit of a long game here. I don't know that Zerg is necessarily behind. I think they're just setting up for a really good position in the mid game. Zerg doesn't mine out for another 10 minutes. Their main and their natural. Meanwhile, Protoss is going to mine out a little quicker than that. So once you're in that stage on Polypoid, Protoss ends up on one gas because of the mineral only, so it becomes tough. So yeah, man, we see he's just mining gas from the mid right here.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. There is going to be a power spike if Zerg is able to get their fourth base and potentially a fifth base up. But Protoss is getting this what is it 9 o'clock fourth base up right now, and I don't know. I do think Protoss is definitely way ahead right now, but we'll have to see if Jaehyun can get a significant amount of damage done with these mutas. We see Team Protoss is still making Corsairs actually, so I'm expecting that they should be able to deal with this in quick fashion. But these cannons are already going down, so he's at least going to get some muta kills. He's going to force a reaction.
Yeah, I mean, we see Corsairs this late in the game. I think that's a team melee thing, right? Because you can definitely, if you have Corsairs in the late game and you see Overlords all over the map, like they're spread out now, if you have the APM and the multitasking, it's really, really effective. If you don't, there's too much stuff to do in the late game. But
Yeah,
we see them pulling it out because it's team melee, and it's definitely something you can make a lot of use of. And we see a bunch of Hydras coming in. They're catching the probe transfer. There's only a couple of Zealots. There's no High Templars. If they can somehow like shoot down this Nexus, and we see an egg block coming on the ramp, so that's really, really effective. But there are a couple of cannons already up over here, so I think it's going to save the Protoss base here.
yeah. The cannons really bought time. That they would have died if the Hydras actually committed to killing them, but then the Hydras would have just all died. So instead, choosing to just run away. Really nice job by the Team Protoss. And again, I still think they're I guess they just started reproducing the Corsairs, so they did get all their Corsairs killed, but they are starting to remake Corsairs for the late game. But still on just like one or two right now. The mutas are kind of neutralized though, and that Hydra attack being neutralized is just, I think, putting Protoss in a really, really good position. Protoss and Zerg are even on bases right now, which is not something you ever want, not a situation that you want to find yourself in Zerg, right?
Oh no, for sure, you're absolutely right. Um, and yeah, I think Protoss has a slight advantage here. But we see Zerg looks like they could probably start setting up to take the top right. I don't know. I see a group of units there. We see Protoss sort of showing that they want to move out. I don't know if he wants to commit. I don't even know the best place for Protoss to attack into here. Zerg sort of baiting up with a few mutilating, but there's not. And we see the hive finally getting started for the Zerg. A bunch of lurkers. So Protoss, I mean, Zerg is kind of ready for this attack. It's going to be tough to get a lot done here, but it's team melee, so you're going to have one S rank player completely dedicated to just control units. So this might be more effective than you typically see in a game.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a little bit of a hard position, though. I mean, we did see like 6 to 7 lurkers at the in between the natural and the third for the Zerg, but the third is, or the fourth rather, is still a little bit exposed. There is a lurker morphing on the choke there to stop the Protoss army from just ramming their way up into there. But Protoss could still potentially, if they can manage to get their army onto the high ground on that fourth, there's very little that Zerg is going to be able to do at this position of the game.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It's pretty exposed. We see one spore colony and like a lurker egg on the ramp. We see him just sending some lings trying to bait out and kill some high templar, and he get one, which is great. Dragon Suga being a little too passive. I think they could have gotten a little bit done on that mid right. If you take out that mid right for gas for Zerg, without that third gas, you can't really get a lot done here. At the stage in the game for Zerg, you can make a lot of lings, but you can't really make defilers, lurkers, ultras, or whatever else you might be really looking to do. So, but we see Protoss playing safe. And, that's drag style. I haven't seen Sogo's PVZ very much, but drag is macroing, so Protoss backing up. Protoss is in a good position. No point in risking it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And Protoss is almost maxed. I yeah, we'll have to see. I do think they could have been more aggressive, like you said, but they probably were giving just the Zerg players respect because they weren't 100% sure how much defenses were at that fourth. And it is very scary to have one player just on micro. So if you mess up, you could very easily just like sacrifice a bunch of units trying to shove your way up into a high ground.
Yeah, we see Zerg sneaking in 12 o'clock. Meanwhile, Zerg is also trying to deny Protoss's top left. If Protoss can get top left up, so they're in a pretty strong position. You do want to start thinking about another base at this point in the game once your main and your natural start drying up. You don't want Zerg does get a power spike as we talked about earlier, so Protoss needs to start thinking while they're in a strong position. There's a sort of a timer before it becomes sort of more of an even game again. So and Zerg getting the 12 o'clock up, we see that Protoss, even though they made Corsairs, they're not really going around the map looking for bases. So Zerg, I don't know how it's good. They might never find that 12 o'clock. Um, Especially it's on this high ground. If they can get creep colonies up there, it's going to be a real tough place to break. And the Nidus is already up.
Yeah, and we see that one of the features that we didn't mention about Team Melee is that you can actually go past 200 supply. Depending on how many players you have, you get an extra 200 per player. So Protoss is actually going up to 230 supply right here, while Zerg is still not even at the traditional max yet. So this is very, very scary for the Zerg. And
yeah, this is pretty insane. I completely forgot about this.
Yeah, and so Zerg realizes that I think the reason they took that 12 o'clock base is because they know they don't have any map control, right? So it's just going to kind of snowball for them if they can't establish map control and like kind of effectively split the map here. They are backstabbing that top left base and killing that, but now Protoss sees that all their army is displaced a little bit, and they're just trying to go and finally kill this fourth base, which I think they should be able to do. The Lurk A's can only buy so much time.
I don't know, man, because Zerg's definitely going to go for a flank. We see units coming in from the top left. And where is the rest of the Zerg's army? We see them trying to come in through the funnel on the mid right. I don't think that's a good idea. Like that's just you're gonna lose everything to Storm. They need to figure out how to get this Protoss in an open area and flank it. There's no way to fight this through a ramp.
Yeah, it's never a good idea to.
This is a 220 army, never seen in the history of pro games. So literally. And we see a ton of cannons. I mean, we don't see any plague out for the Zerg yet. Haven't seen a single plague. Dark storms. Like we see the Defiler Mound is out. We see Nidus is up, but like I think Zerg is going to need to start employing plague to be able to actually fight this Protoss army.
Yeah, it's very, very scary. And with a one player just on micro, you would expect the swarm use and the plague use to be really on point, but maybe the plague is just a little delayed.
Yeah, we see a Dark Storm going down in mid right as a Protoss is offensive, but we also see the Zerg coming in with the Dark Storm probably about to be cast here on the mid left. So if man, this is not going to be a base race scenario with Zerg coming in for flank here, Protoss might lose this entire army here. I mean, we still see he has a big chunk of this army left, but with this Dark Storm, man, you can hold on forever, especially if there's no Zealots. There's a couple of Zealots at the bottom of the ramp.
Yeah, I don't know. Now that he sees that Darkstorm is out, I think he can pretty much like give up on trying to bust through that fourth base with just like Dragoons right now. It's very hard to bust bases like that when you have a Dragoon heavy army and they have Dark Swarm.
Yeah, we see Zerg coming in for a flank, but I just don't think the Zerg has quite enough. We see a great storm. They're taking out a bunch of them. We see Protoss is only at 2-2, though. I feel like at this point they should be at like 3-2-1, 3-2-2 at this point, if not 3-3. So I think the Protoss upgrades are a little behind. We see this fort spinning. They definitely forgot it for a little while.
Yeah, it's actually really surprising that he doesn't at least have +3 weapons at this point.
Yeah, we see Zerg at 2-2, which is great, and 3-2 just finished. So Zerg actually has a slight upgrade advantage here, and yeah, I think it definitely is just an oversight. There's no reason to not have that at this point in the game.
We do see a drop going down here, but just Zealots, or there must be DTs or High Templar or something in that.
Probably High Templar. You get the drones moving and you storm elsewhere.
It looks like there was actually already a storm in the natural, maybe that we just missed because all these. Okay, well, let's see here. Yeah, 6 kills on
Oh,
the
wow,
Green
6
Templar.
kills. Yeah, for sure. And we see Protoss has a huge supply advantage. They literally have a 234 to 137 supply advantage. Zerg probably just wondering how does Protoss have this much? It's team melee, man. And you have Drag just macroing. So Drag we already know is a very, very strong macro player. Now imagine he just only has macro. Meanwhile, Zerg though does have 12 o'clock. I still don't think Protoss knows about 12 o'clock. And so Zerg taking top right as well. If Zerg can set up top right, they can claw back into this game via like split map. We see Protoss hasn't taken top left yet. So I mean, their main and natural must be dried up at this point. Their mineral only is probably getting close to dried up. So I mean, Protoss needs to figure out how to take another base. It's 22 minutes into the game.
Yeah, I do think that this top left is going to be going up shortly. I don't really think there's anything Zerg can do to contest it.
Oh, finally a plague. Doesn't hit that much, but he's gonna need to keep throwing those to be able to actually fight a 240 Protoss army. There's no other way.
Yeah, it's I don't know, man. Like I said, I think Zerg is already disadvantaged in this matchup, even if they were constricted to 200. But being able to go over 200 supply, I don't know.
Wait, you think Zerg is disadvantaged in PvZ?
Yeah, in team melee.
Okay, okay.
Um, we do see. It looks like Zerg was actually going to clean it up. It looks like he was getting quite good trades with his Nidus Canaled army. But okay, yeah, he will clean this up. But the storms were doing a lot of work there. But
yeah, it definitely looked like Zerg might be in a top position, but I think those upgrades are really coming through. He can actually fight.
Yeah, 100%. I was going to say, I think the lack of +3 and just the fact that Zerg is equal on those carapace upgrades is really keeping Zerg in the game right now. Really big oversight by Protoss, honestly, because that's like one of their biggest weapons in PvZ is just having an upgrade advantage.
Being said, though, we see Protoss is at over 200 supply, but I don't. Where's his army, right? Like, he doesn't have that big of an army. We see a dozen zealots here. He must have like 100 probes, man. Like, where is Protoss's army?
Yeah, it's really curious. He is on just 3 bases right now with the 4th coming up, but yeah, I don't really know. That mineral only is quite oversaturated, I think. But yeah, I think maybe he's just in a little bit of a strange position right now because he's still trying to get up that 3rd gas so he can really start pouring resources into that like heavy late game comp because he does have over 1,000 minerals right now, right? But at this point, just pumping zealots only does so much.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling like Protoss obviously had a very very strong advantage, but he's just playing a little too passive. We saw that earlier when he could have went into mid right and he didn't. They're not. He's not, and he's just playing up in the top right. Like the longer this game goes, it just looks like I think the worse the situation is for Protoss. He's just sort of given up his advantage. We see Zerg managed to take top right. He's got a Nidus Canal up. Like it's while Protoss is still in an advantage, I'm not liking the little over passiveness coming in from this Protoss. And we see him finally, moving out aggressively with a lot of zealots, which is sort of what you need against Dark Swarm instead of the Dragoon comp. But is it too late? A lot of those zealots have been plagued. We know he's at an upgrade disadvantage. And we see, Zerg is coming back here, probably gonna throw another plague down. If he gets all these units plagued, and we see a huge plague. Like Zerg is doing all of the right things here.
Yeah, that was a great plague, and yeah, I do think he still has an advantage. The upgrade advantage is not really the case anymore because he is at 3, so it's just they're just even. But
right.
Yeah, he is going to start getting those shield upgrades, so he's still going to be in a very good position, especially if he can keep getting more and more Archons and keep getting more and more Reavers with this army. But there's really nothing he can do right now with all these Zealots. They're just kind of sitting there.
Yeah, I mean they're plagued. They can't really run up into 3 lurkers. I think he's just trying to sort of tank push with these reavers up, and then once he gets 2 or 3 of these lurkers out, he's just gonna run up with the zealots. That being said, I mean Crossy and Jay know exactly what's happening here, and they should be ready. I mean I'm not. They have a Nidus set up, and we see. I think Protoss finally sees 12 o'clock here. Let's see if he starts being aggressive with this base. I think this might be the first time all game, right? Or maybe they saw it earlier, but we saw that he never even once tried to attack this base.
Yeah, I don't know when they actually found out about that base, but it was definitely up for a while before they realized it was there.
Yeah, it's like the worst situation in the world when you think you're really ahead and you find out they have another 2 bases. There was one time recently I was playing a game on Eclipse PvP, and I was like, this guy, I have him contained. I have like 2 bases. I don't need to get third. Found out he had top left, on Eclipse for like the whole game. I lost.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, it's bad in any matchup, but I think the worst feeling of all is when you realize it's happened in ZVZ, because when you get like a base advantage in ZVZ or a gas advantage, it's like you basically consider it like a free win. Like I can just sit here and he's never going to be able to catch up to my mutas. But then you realize they like took a corner base somewhere, and they've been mining from there the whole time. It's like, oh my god,
Dirty Zergs, man.
ugh, it's
They're worse than the Protosses. And we see this Defiler coming out. If he can plague that army, on the top right, does he get? Does he go for a plague here? He didn't. And we see a double storm. I think these lurkers are both gonna die here. Maybe he didn't get the plague off. Oh, he. Oh, what a plague, dude!
Like, how many events are already plagued though?
Oh, another plague coming in here. Wow. Yeah, an entire army, bro. That's 220 army of being plagued. And yeah, they're doing a really, really good job. I think they heard me through the cast, man, from the past. Like, it's just they're just, you can't really fight this army head on. Not a 220 Protoss army, so plague is the way.
Yeah, and look, I mean, they are doing some work with these drops too. They're slowing down the Zerg economy, but at the same time, like their economy, despite being on what 4 bases now, is not as healthy as I would have thought. They are getting a lot of High Templar numbers up here, though, and more Reavers, more shuttles. I do think that this is going to become a very scary army. Like, just look at all those High Templars that are coming out now. He doesn't really care about these zealots, but I don't know. You don't want to be losing Archons, especially.
Yeah, man, Protoss is 4 gas. You can make as many High Templars as you want. You just pick them up. And even then, he still is banking 600 gas here. It's a lot of gas for this Protoss. But I don't know if Protoss knows how to finish this game right now. It's impossible to. It's like playing split map. You know, it's really tough in just trying to crack these Zerg base. You know, with Plague, Dark Swarm, Lurkers, Poor Colonies, Niduses. Like, it's really, really tough here.
It's kind of a funny situation because I feel like very, very late game PvZ is actually one of Dragon's specialties. I feel like he's really known as like a patient macro player who always plays for the very late game of PvT and PvZ. But I mean, normally you don't face a Zerg late game that has multitasking of 2 people. So maybe late game Zerg is just actually way better in team melee.
Yeah, I'm convinced that if this was a 1v1, I think Zerg, at least like if it went most of the way and then became a 1v1, Zerg would have lost by now. But these plagues are just, and we just saw another plague go off. Like, his plagues are meticulous. Like, doesn't matter how much money you have if everything has 20 HP, man. And we see a Dark Storm coming in. We see a flank, although there's 3 Archons, so those are just, you know, they're
It's like just a wall.
yeah. I love seeing
Oh,
how
that's
they
actually
run into Archons.
I wonder how many kills do they have?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, they're dead now. And I love seeing Plague on Archons because it only does like 9 damage to an Archon, because Archons are all shield, which is great. I think that might be why we're switching to the Archon style, because like so many plagues are just decimating their armies. So yeah, their option is to just go Archons. You know,
Yeah, I mean,
plagues.
Swarm is very, very good against Archons because they can't deal. They can only deal splash damage under the Swarm. But yeah, this is finally getting cleaned up. It's actually taking a little extra time to get cleaned up because the Dark
It's
Swarm.
getting cleaned up. This guy just transferred drones. I don't know if it's getting. He was like, oh, it's getting cleaned up, and we saw 12 drones show up out of a Nidus. That's not cleaned up, man. That's
Well, all the units that were attacking that base died. So yeah, I would say cleaned up.
Oh, okay. When you said cleaned up, you meant the Zerg cleaned up the Protosses. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, labeled thing. Oh, we see him setting up for another plague here. Nice. He waited for him to drop the Reaver. Sugo obliged, and the plague went down.
Yeah, still, I don't know. I mean, Plague is definitely great against Reavers, but I still feel like Reavers are, when they're 3-3-3 with all their upgrades, I feel like they're actually kind of tanks late game. Maybe it's just because they feel so oppressive, and I want them to die so much. But honestly, I still feel like they're hard to kill even when they get plagued.
Another sick plague. I mean, yeah, the one unit that Protoss has that can fight Zerg late game. Meanwhile, you guys can use Lings. That's fine. We see a good storm coming in. I think they just don't know. I mean, we saw them switch away from Dragoons for a long time because of the Dark Swarms. Then it's a Mass Zealous, and then they switched over to Archons because of the plagues. I just think I know Drag is great late game, but it looks like he's having a tough time. Him and Sugo trying to figure out how to answer this Zerg question here, man.
Yeah, quote unquote tough time, but it's still 260 supply against 120 supply, and Zerg is still struggling to try to get their,
I mean, it's 260 supply, but what I'm looking on my screen is 2.5 control groups of units. Like, where is all the supply?
2.5 control groups of units against what, like one control group of Zerg units? I mean,
Well, Zerg is at 100 supply. I'm just talking about like where are the Protoss units? There are 250 supply, and I'm seeing 6 Dragoons, 2 Reavers, and 3 High Templar, 4 High Templar, 3 Archon.
look, I'm not sure where the Protoss units are, but I know where the Zerg units are. They don't exist. So
Yeah, I think he might have cracked it here. If you take out top right, Zerg is only really down to 1 base, which is going to be 12 o'clock. And so that's that's not going to be good, man. We see Zerg fighting. If Zerg loses here, they lose 3-0. Is that right?
yeah, they do lose 3-0, and like I said, I was actually wrong, and they GG out. So the first game will not be played tonight. Unfortunately, we won't be able to see Sugo against Jaeyoon. I was really looking forward to that match, but
Yeah, man, that would have been nice to see.
Team Dragon taking it 3-0 for our first match of the Turf Wars 2 season.
You know, during the draft, people were like, I don't. And Tim included, actually, Tim, who won game 1 here. And Drag showing that, listen, we're all business here. This is SKT1. We're here to win games, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if you want to win a North American event, just pick a bunch of Protoss players. I think that's a pretty legit strategy.
Yeah, yeah, it's working for Drag. I mean, he pulled out Drag, Sugo, and Tim, and it's just flawless victory. I think Pseudo he said a break. What? I don't know if I should be doing some chat.
But yeah, it looks like we're going to be taking a short little break now before our next series.
Awesome.
just cleaning up some little bit of technical difficulties that we were having. But yeah, after that dominating victory, we will be moving on to Dogecoin Millionaires versus Fancy Scarves for our second match of the evening. But first, I want to just mention a couple little promo things that our admin team was trying to set up here. So first of all, we have this wonderful newspaper theme. So Strom Carlin was suggesting that, if anyone in chat or anyone on our Discord would like to contribute to, or have some kind of like little anecdotes about the North American scene, or little meme stories, feel free to contribute a newspaper story idea. It doesn't have to be very long, obviously, but it could potentially end up on the next week's newspaper, and we will offer potentially special roles in our Discord or VIP roles in our Twitch chat for those who do submit. So go for that. And also same deal for anyone, if you would like to clip sick plays or whatever, feel free to do so as well and submit those.
I've got a story for next week. Mars missing. Was he murdered by?
Oh my god, yeah, I saw that. Mars left the Jayun Discord. Mars.
Yeah, I heard it was after I beat him, and I think he was crying, and he was tired of the bullying, he was frustrated, and he left. And then he lives a life talking about diners and Stromcord.
Wow. Yeah, and how they don't salt their food, and it's up to you to salt the diner food.
It's really a depressing life he's leading now, and I didn't mean to do that.
So yeah, I mean, well, he is one of the whitest people on the planet, right? So I wouldn't expect him to eat seasoned food.
And then Crane hit 1600, and he's still making guides. So it's, we need to start discussing at a community that we need to start setting standards for what kind of people make guides here.
Yeah. I mean, Crane, the guy who keeps talking about losing to one base carrier,
is teaching other people.
I mean, come on, like you wonder why he wasn't selected for any of these Turf Wars teams. But
somebody can just go one base carrier and win.
I mean, how could you possibly defeat that? What are you going to do? 2 base carrier? Come on,
right? Or literally anything at all.
Yeah.
But anyway,
make units. But anyway,
some ideas for.
We will be seeing some non-Crane, non-Mars matchups for the second match, which should be very, very sick. Dogecoin Millionaires, it's my own team. Hawk, TT1, Raz, and myself. I will say that we have been practicing together nonstop. Our team synergy is just out of this world. We are such hard workers. We're so smart, talented. We're good looking, wealthy, charismatic. The list goes on.
Astute investors.
Yeah, Dogecoin is just the best crypto. Obviously, everyone knows that. So yeah, I'm expecting us to just go undefeated this entire season. But
yeah,
we'll have to see.
I don't know about all of that. I mean, we see Team Fancy Scarves, which is courtesy of our observer Pseudo here, having Scarlet. I don't know where that overlay went, but I am specifically excited about Scarlet versus Hawk.
Yeah. I mean, even though I'm on Team Dogecoin here, I have to fanboy a little bit. The Scarlet, I'm super, super excited. She is most well known as a world-class StarCraft 2 pro gamer for over 10 years, basically the entire history of StarCraft 2. She has been a world-class contender. But
I don't think we talked about this enough. I think this is Scarlet's first appearance in like a major NA tournament. She's really joining the scene before luckily beating Artosis 4-0. Because
right. So last year she made a few appearances. She started playing Brood War a little bit, and she quickly rose in skill to high A, low S rank. And she beat Artosis. I think she beat a couple other people as well. I think she beat Cadenzi in a show match. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, she was already good then. And she just started playing again a month or two ago, I believe. And she has been just crushing all the North American Zergs. I think she's been doing very well against top North American.
There's also someone else coming into the scene is TT1 versus Striker. And we know that TT1 has been the top NA Protoss, or debatably, but he's up there, right? And he's been gone from the scene for a little while, at least since I've been around the scene. So I'm excited to see him play. I've heard so much about this guy, and I've never actually really watched him play.
Yeah, he is. He's kind of an old man, so his brain and his hands don't work as well as they used to. so he can only fit in so many games before he gets tired and he needs his rest. But he has been hibernating for quite a while, and he's back, and he is ready to show what he is made of. So
Brains and hands don't work, so he's roughly an S rank Protoss, right?
yes, he's obviously one of the best Protosses in the world. It's not like you need, a working body for that.
I've never really seen him play. The one time I played with him was we were on the same team melee team where he let me macro, and I disappointed him heavily. So it's, I'm excited to watch him play, and hopefully he disappoints me too, so I can message him and let him know.
Well, I don't think he will. I think he's going to knock Striker back into the Stone Age.
Stone Age. That's all right, man. But we also have Raz versus Machine, and these guys are very good friends. They're on the same team. Right? GTB, am I right? Or am I
yeah. I think they both play together like quite a bit. So, who knows what kind of crazy mind games will be going on with this match. But we'll have to see. I do think that, I don't know, I think Machine is well known for being a very, very stock standard player. So maybe Raz will take that knowledge and run with it and do something a little sneaky to throw Machine off his game. But we'll have to see.
Awesome. Yeah, it looks like we're getting started. It looks like the Doge team is ready. Given that you're on Raz's team, have you been ZVPing him at all for practice? And what's he been doing?
I have been ZVPing him, and on Polaris so far, he's actually been choosing to go Forge Fast Expand. And honestly, I haven't talked to him about that choice specifically, but I don't know. He is very, very strong. I definitely have a losing record against him on Polaris, so I fully expect him to take this match.
Yeah, so we have Raz, the green Protoss in the bottom right of Polaris Rhapsody. And we have Machine, the black Zerg. Is that black? Yeah, black Zerg, top left. We're going to go with black.
It's dark gray.
Black.
It's black, yeah. Yeah, so already kind of a color advantage here for Machine. It's a kind of a dark map. It's a little harder to see him, right?
Yeah, man, I hate it when the Zerg is black and, you just assume there are lurkers everywhere and you just lose the game. And it was only because of the colors.
Yeah, it's a kind of a pay-to-win situation, right? Except there's no payment involved.
Well, I mean, I guess if you win this tournament, there's going to be a little bit of payment.
Yeah,
here's some Doge is being sold, and
big bucks here. Yeah, Dogecoin millionaires specifically, we're going to be getting a big Dogecoin payout in addition to the prize pool. So,
I mean, you got to hold on to your Doge, man. It's very, very valuable nowadays.
It's only going to go up.
Well, it can't go down, right? It's stonks. Stonks only go up.
Yeah. Okay.
That's literally science, dude. Are you stupid?
Yeah. What kind of science?
The important one. We see an overpool coming in from Zerg. And yeah, you're absolutely right. Looks like he's gonna do a Forge expand. He's probably gonna throw down a Forge here. Probably see a Nexus and a Cannon shortly after. So pretty standard opening from both players here. It looks like both the Protosses that we've seen. Wait, what is he doing here? I think they've got a kind of a meta. What is he looking for? Okay, he's putting down the Forge. He's not being crazy. Imagine they had a meta where he puts the Forge, but Machine never makes links, and so he can just get away with it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was watching Hawk's stream earlier. And Hawk pulled out an economic 9 pool like that. He went 9 pool and then just made drones, which was definitely intentional, because Hawk would never make a mistake like that. So
I don't know if you're joking, but I played against an economic 5 pool before from I believe Yaj. He went 5 pool, and then he droned, and then he linged. So I had to respond to it, and then he still had 9-10 drones by the time he attacked. I lost. But it's because the build is up.
Well, I gotta give you credit for admitting that you lost.
I mean, yeah, as a man who only wins, it takes a big man like me to admit when I lose, and the people have to know I'm human.
Yeah, well, that's really admirable. Not many people would admit to losing to a build like that.
For sure. I mean, it's an impossible build to beat. So.
Oh, okay. Are you sure you're not on Crane's team here? Getting into one base carrier territory.
We see the gas before the third hatch here from Machine, and yeah, man, that cannon's pretty far back, but it looks like he'll be fine. Yeah, there is a lot of area in Polaris Rhapsody. I never really looked at it. You could fit 3 houses in there, man. That's a lot of real estate.
I think this map is actually really, really not ideal for 3-Hatch Hydra, to be quite honest. And this, I actually like the cannon placement from Raz here. It is very, like, if his scouting isn't on point and Machine does go for a 3-Hatch Hydra, then he could potentially just break this down instantly and kill Raz. But as long as his scouting is on point, that cannon really will give just a huge advantage, because it's so far back, it's not going to be able to get sniped. And as long as he adds cannons in a timely fashion, there's no way that he'll be getting broken.
Yeah, we see both Protosses. Tim earlier on this map, same position, went for it first here. So maybe the rush is a little too far for the Zealots. But we see Machine going in for a lair style here. Machine, we know, is more of a macro passive Zerg versus Crossy, who saw the Forge and spammed Hydras. So it's nice to see this difference in style. Excited to see how this pays off. And given that he plays Raz so much, like maybe he knows that Raz is just very good against 3-Hatch Hydra. Is just not worth it. So who knows? But maybe that's, yeah.
I think, I don't know. I think Machine just isn't the type of player that goes for those early aggressive plays. I think he's one of the most standard players around.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
I think he's kind of, I mean, I'm honestly not surprised that Striker picked him, because I consider Machine like a striker.
Like a same style of striker.
Yeah, like a very, very, very similar in play style for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, I definitely can see that they're both sort of by the book, like macro Zergs, who are about playing optimal more than anything else. And we see the Citadel going down for Raz. Can we see if the +1 is started on the Forge? And we see it is started. So yeah, I mean, Raz going in for a very standard mid game. We should probably expect to see a speed lot timing at around 7:30, given this opener here.
Yeah, I kind of. I don't know. I was distracting myself early game, but I missed the gas timing for Machine, so I'm kind of confused as to why he decided to make that early den. Was his gas just a little later than like 2:30 or so? Because normally
his gas was at around 2:30, 2:35, maybe 2:40, but it wasn't anything out of the norm.
Okay, well, I'm curious then about that Hydra den. He is going to lose at least one Overlord despite the early Hydra den. But yeah, his Spire is going to finish, soon enough. He shouldn't lose more than 1 or 2 Overlords. Depends on how much Raz is going to want to just scout around for the Overlords rather than going straight to the base and scouting.
Could this be a Lurker Rush, right? He's got the probe in the main, right? He put the den in the natural. Well, I mean, I don't know if Raz saw it. He probably did. I wasn't paying too much attention. But it could just be a trick, because Raz doesn't know if it's going to be mutas, if it's going to be lurkers, if it's going to be hydras. So we do know that, it's just, the worst thing about Zerg is that they're unpredictable. Now, if you have all of the buildings, there could be anything. You have to prepare for everything.
Yeah, well, I mean, this second gas is so early before the 4th and the 5th hatcheries. It's very unusual. I'm honestly really not sure what he's doing. But the fact is that these 3 Zealots are actually doing quite a bit of work. They killed a bunch of Lings, and they're getting full scouting information. And this Corsair is still going to town.
So he really needs to get some Scourge out and deal with this Corsair. Corsair's got 1 kill. He's gonna get 2, and once you get to 3, you're at a point where it's really, really tough to come back as Zerg. And you see we see some Zealots getting more damage on the top right. Now, the advantage of Zerg is that you can go all the techs, but when you try to go all the techs this early, you sort of don't really have that much. And we see that flaw being exposed by Raz right now.
Yeah. So he is going mutas now. I'm really confused about that Hydra den. That was so weird. I'm wondering if it was just like a feint, like he was just trying to confuse Raz. But yeah, these mutas could potentially do a lot of work.
Yeah, I'm actually a little confused about that too. I thought maybe it would be earlier, but we see he's got a couple of mutas. It's not that many mutas. It's not like he made 8 or 9 mutas. It's like 4 or 5 mutas maybe. So it's not really a big commitment here. It's just 6 mutas here.
Yeah, that second gas was so early. I don't know. It's still strange to me. Like he still hasn't gotten any macro hatcheries. His 4th hatchery just went down in his 3rd. He still has no 5th hatchery to speak of. But yeah, even going past 5 mutas, 5 mutas is usually like the early game sweet spot that you want, because you can 1-shot probes, you can 2-shot High Templar, and so you get those 5 mutas, and then you get a bunch of Scourge to thin out the Corsairs and keep air superiority. Um,
Yeah, I mean, I might be wrong, but we see no Overlord speed at this point. It makes me kind of think he's gonna go Lurkers, but I mean, I could be wrong. I probably am. No, we see it's a Muta. It's just gonna be all Mutas. Probably taking Carapace. We see him taking his third gas on the top right. So yeah, he's. It looks like he's just gonna, just commit to Mutas here.
yeah, and I mean, this could potentially be dangerous for Raz. Raz only has 4 Corsairs right now. No +1 yet for his Corsairs. And he is a little light on cannons, honestly, so we'll have to see. But Raz, I think, will try to start pressuring with these Zealots. And
Yeah, I thought Machine could have got a little more done there. Sorry, I cut you off there, but he only had 1 cannon in the natural, right? The Corsairs were coming back, but they would have had to engage with the Mutas, and then you could use the Stairs. Instead, he went back to chase the Corsairs. I felt like that was a little bit of a mistake.
yeah. I mean, I don't think going back to chase with Corsairs is even that bad, but just leaving the Zealots idling in the middle of the map was kind of a mistake. But regardless, he didn't really lose anything, so it's still a fine position for him.
Yeah, and we see more Mutas here. Maybe, I mean, I'm really just curious what he's getting the third gas this early for, and you saw that he had taken the second gas a little earlier too, because we're not seeing Lurkers and we're not seeing mass Mutas and we're not really seeing many Hydras either. So we just sort of see him banking. He's at 600 gas and he just went down to 200. So he either morphed a bunch of Lurkers or he just ordered a bunch of Mutas. So we're gonna find out soon what that is. We see a good push here. Still no Overlord speed. I think Raz, right? This might be too much damage here. Where are Machine's Mutas?
They're on their way. They're about to hit.
Oh, that's a lot of Mutas.
That's devastating. But I mean, he is cleaning up the drones. He's forced a drone transfer. I don't know. That is a lot of Mutas though. So Raz needs some Archons. He needs cannons. He needs way more Saras to deal with this.
We see him morphing Archons. Is he teching +1 here on his core? Is his core spinning? No. Does he have +1? No. So he's just not going to get +1. And so it's going to be tough fighting. I'm assuming Machine's getting Carapace here. This many Mutas without air +1 here. And yeah, we see Carapace is done. So if he really commits to these Mutas, it's going to be tough, man, to actually fight him. But we see he did take out the third hatchery.
Yeah, but honestly, there's still the other hatchery there. It's not that big of a deal, and he can still mine gas from there. His economy is definitely hurt, but I don't know. This is a scary amount of Mutas. As long as Machine doesn't just like waste all of them to like an Archon in a bad trade or something, I don't know. I'm feeling really nervous for Raz here.
Yeah, Team Fancy Scarves here going with the Ogre Zerg strategy. So you don't really expect that. I thought that would have been more of a, a little too ogre for such an esteemed Fancy Scarf team. But we see +1 finally starting. I don't know if that's range. I'm assuming it has to be +1 here. At this point, even if it's late, you still got to get it. You can't really hope to fight, especially if they end up getting +2. Like, Mutas become impossible to kill.
Yeah, I would be very surprised if Machine did go that far. That would be very unusual, but who knows? I mean, he does have a big advantage right now, and if he wants to push his advantage in that way, I guess I would have to give that to him.
Like, he can kind of just dive in here. He has so many Mutas. Raz doesn't really have much. Is it Corsairs? But like,
yeah, and I don't know if Raz is a little like just not warmed up or nervous, but not even stacking those Corsairs. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Maybe he's just a little flustered and not used to facing this kind of strategy.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely have played against each other a lot, and maybe he's a little confused. Maybe this is the first time Machine's pulling it out, or maybe the last time they did this, Machine like smacked him with it, and now he's just reliving Vietnam right now, and he's just like, oh man, I don't want to lose on stream. But it's the lacking of +1 has to be a mistake here, man. When you see Mutas, you have to get +1 air. Just a thing you have to do, especially if the Zerg decides to commit. We can't win against Mutas without +1, man.
Yeah, 100%. I honestly think he's just a little flustered and he doesn't know what to do, because we see he's still just trying. He actually got +1 armor, so he's playing as if this was a regular like heavy layer like Hydra style game, because that's what the +1 armor really does, is help against Hydras.
Yeah, no, you want to get +1 armor if you're playing against Hydras, but there's no Hydras, man. It's 20 Mutas here and a bunch of Stairs with Scourge with +1. But we see Raz trying to take this 12 o'clock here. Is there a gas at the 12 o'clock? I do know there's reduced minerals there. And not 12 o'clock. I'm sorry, 6 o'clock. Those are Gen Z. I've never seen a clock. Yeah. So, and we see Hydra starting to bust. So maybe Machine is transitioning, but we see another Muta coming out. He's just being unpredictable, man. We can see the whole map and we don't know what he's doing. Oh, and is he gonna commit here? One good storm on that could
Well,
really hurt these mutas.
yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I think Machine. I think this is his game. I don't think he can lose from here, honestly. Raz only has one Archon. He lost all his Sares just now, and his micro is just really sloppy. He doesn't really know how to deal with these. You see, he was like running up into his base with all of his zealots, and they were actually blocking his Archon and his High Templar. So he's just really flustered right now. He doesn't really know what to make of this game.
Yeah, and we see that Zerg is caught up in supply with the Protoss, which is never a good sign, especially if it's just muted. Oh, we see a good storm, but it's also got a lot of those zealots under that. Yeah, man, Raz is in a really tough position. But if he keeps getting these storms off, man, Machine can't eat too many storms. Yeah.
Right. The one saving grace for Raz is that this is a very these mutas are very sort of what is the word I'm looking for? They're very squishy, really. I mean, but honestly, it doesn't matter. There's just so many of them, and Raz keeping all these zealots, like he has all these zealots, they're just doing nothing right now. He needs to just like send them to Machine's natural or Machine's fourth, and yeah, look at this. Like, I think Raz is just really Raz is frazzled right now, dude. He has no idea what's going on. Look at all those probes in his main mineral line. He's so oversaturated.
Yeah, Raz definitely looks frazzled here, man. There's a lot of idle probes here. We see the gateways aren't rallied. I mean, yeah, it's tough, man. When you're on stream, your hands are cold. It just becomes tough. Even if it's not a stream game, like there are games, even like CPL games, man, I get nervous and I play not as great as I normally would. But we can definitely see that he needs to attack with these zealots. He needs to get these mutas out of the base, put Machine in a defensive. Maybe try to, if you can just run them into the main. You know, a couple of these will get through. Snipe the pool, snipe a den, snipe a spire. You know, do something. It'll buy him some time to really get a third setup, and we see bottom left coming up. If you can get a bunch of cannons with +2 mutas, +1 carapace mutas are nearly invincible against cannons, man. And +1/1, wow, I don't think I've seen 1/1 mutas. This is nuts. So yeah, and we see Machine going bottom left. He's probably gonna take that out immediately.
Yeah, really nice by Machine. He's been really proactive with these mutas. He knows he's in a commanding lead right now, and all he has to do is prevent Raz from ever expanding. And Raz, he's making a lurker right in front of him now. Raz is still just not doing anything with these zealots. He's been making zealots and zealots and zealots this whole time, but he hasn't actually been on the map. Like, one of the strongest things that Protoss can do is just, pressure with zealots, even if it's just a couple in the main, like you said, just forcing the Zerg to respond and, taxing their multitask a little bit really is such a huge boon to your gameplay. But honestly, they've been nothing but a hindrance to Raz. Like, all these zealots are doing is actually making it harder for his Archons to move around and actually defend the mutas. Now
this observatory just finished, and this lurker container is going to be impossible to get out of because all he has are zealots.
Yeah, this is. There's no way that Raz can come back from here. I think this is a really dire situation for Protoss.
Yeah,
I don't know what he was hoping for with that shuttle, but when Zerg has complete air control with 24 mutas, that shuttle probably is not going to get much accomplished.
Yeah, and that shuttle had been sitting there in his natural for a long time. I've been watching it. He made it a long time ago, and he never really used it. I think he's just been preoccupied trying to just shell shock from these mutas, man. He just didn't have an answer for it, and now we see Machine closing out the game. Like, the next right move was lurkers. When you see 25, 30, 35 zealots, man, like, his observatory had just finished by the first time the lurker actually burrowed in. Yeah, this is and he's got no main right now. All the probes are idle. There's only 5 gateways, so even if he wanted to, he couldn't even try. Like, it's just, and we see him banking up minerals at this point, and I think the game is over.
Yeah, there's really nothing that the Raz can do to come back from here. I mean, I hate to call games ahead of time, but this is I mean, he only has 1 Corsair, he has 1 Archon, just a handful of Dragoons. And just look at this army from Machine. Machine is just playing out of his mind. Really, really nice performance by Machine here.
Yeah, man. We've seen Machine play a bunch, especially recently when he played Quark. This is one of the best games I've seen from him. He just meticulous execution, man. This Ogre Zerg into like lurker transition, and just had complete control. Just kept it on the Protoss, and Protoss couldn't get a lot done.
Yeah, I don't think there's been a single stage of this entire game where Machine wasn't in control.
Yeah, man, he just executed he had a game plan and he executed it perfectly. Like, he even threw the Hydra Den in natural, and even we didn't know what he was gonna do, and it was over there.
Yeah, I was honestly not. I guess I just said he was in control of the entire game, but yeah, I was honestly a little confused about the opening. But I mean, apparently Machine knows something that we don't, dude. He's a force to be reckoned with that build.
So your team is down to 0-1 right now, man.
Yep, yeah, we are. That's true.
Doge, what would you say? Doge took a dip.
Yeah, I think Doge took a dip. I mean, I don't know, man. Like, look, I'm one of the biggest Hawk fans, and I think Hawk's ZVP rather is absolutely outstanding. And he just won the last RCR, beating Dragon. He beat Boa, he beat Dragon. He took out all the top North American Protosses, but Scarlet, she is a force to be reckoned with, and she was not playing at that point. So I don't know. I mean, this is going to be a crazy match, but it's definitely going to be an uphill battle for Hawk.
I heard Scarlet's been practicing a lot with all the top NA Zergs, and she's been winning a lot of these games, man.
Yeah. I mean, from what I've heard, I think she's even been practicing 1v2 against against her team's Team Melee team. So, definitely putting in a ton of practice, and she also has all that pro gamer experience. She's very diligent with practicing, improving quickly, just studying the game. I mean, all of that is such a huge advantage compared to, the average player who doesn't have that kind of background. So, yeah, honestly, I might, as much as I love Hawk, I think Scarlet might be the favorite here.
I do have to say though, when I did see that their last game on this map, actually, Hawk pulled it out, but Scarlet had a massive early advantage, and then Hawk showed sort of a camping, patient, boring style of Zerg, and he eventually pulled it through in the game. It was a couple of weeks ago, so Scarlet's been practicing, and she looked fantastic in that game. I do have to say though that there were some random times Scarlet just hopped in lobbies when I was playing, and I showed abysmal games, so I'm pretty sure she thinks I'm a complete moron, which I am. But
yeah, accurate perception. Yeah. But I do think that, so Scarlet, her mechanics are just insane, and she spends a lot of time studying, but she is a kind of product of like studying the modern ZVP styles, right? So she's watching a lot of pro gamer Protosses right now, but this far natural style, this passive Zerg, is kind of an older style. So I feel like she might not have as much experience against it, and that might be one of her big weaknesses.
Yeah, when I heard that she's gotten arbiters a bunch against that style when it's been done, and even in that Hawk game, when I saw that, she did end up going arbiters with recall. So maybe that's been her solution. So if Hawk does go that style, we might get to see arbiters in PvZ today, man. That's pretty sick. I think I've seen it a couple times. I saw Shuttle do it against, I think it was Larva. It was some Zerg on Eclipse, where he brought out an arbiter PvZ, and what he did was he stasis an observer while trying to break the lurker camp. So you couldn't kill the observer, but apparently it's still detected. I didn't know that's how it worked. Really? Yeah. That's so he stasised it deliberately so that you couldn't snipe the observer, and Spores couldn't kill it. And then he still wasn't able to break, but like that was a sick idea.
That's actually insane. I did not know that.
Yeah. I never tried it. It doesn't make sense to me that the observer can still detect, but maybe it does, man. I mean, it must, right? He definitely deliberately stasis his observer, and he must have tested it. So maybe Scarlet, if you're listening,
Yeah, we're waiting for the game to start. It'll be starting shortly right now. But both the players are actually in the lobby right now. And little known fact about Hawk, but Hawk was actually a StarCraft 2 pro gamer as well. So they're just kind of reminiscing about the past, I guess.
Yeah, I had no idea that Hawk was a StarCraft 2 pro gamer. I haven't really played StarCraft 2, never touched it. So
yeah, I played it when it first came out, but I haven't played it in like 9 or 10 years.
Yeah, man, you should quit things you're not good at.
Actually, I quit because I was too good at it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I mean, yeah, we see Hawk, the red Zerg on the top right, and we see Scarlet of Team Scarf, the blue Protoss on the bottom right. Fancy Scarf. Sorry, Pseudo.
Yeah. Come on.
Pseudo is cursing me out in German right now.
You gotta pay your respect to the other teams. I just realized we have 3 representatives from 3 out of the 4 teams on our casting trio tonight.
Oh, is that who's the? Oh, that's true. Yeah, and Fancy Scarves, man. I don't know how you came up with that name, Pseudo. Pseudo's sponsor, our observer for the Fancy Scarves team. Like, imagine if all of them had such dumb names. Like, the next one could be like Woolly Socks and like Smelly Shirt.
Imagine if their name was actually Fancy Scarfs. Like, how stupid would that be?
Yeah, that would be even stupider. And wait, did Scarlet see that Overlord?
She was scouting to see it, but I don't know. She was moving down to the
I think
bottom
she
left.
might have just missed it, man. Or she did see it, and we're the fools. We see her scouting after the probe, so it's gonna be probably a Forge or a Nexus first. Um, but yeah, that was a little bit of an odd thing. Is it? Why wouldn't she just go straight up?
I have no idea. It's so weird. Maybe she was just banking on the Overlord not seeing the probe, but
Oh, she didn't see it, right? Or maybe she's looking for the Overlord that would be coming from top left to top right. And do you know what I mean?
no, she definitely saw it.
Oh,
But yeah, this is actually really, really good for her because I think she's just going to go 12 Nexus now. She scouted that this is going to be
sick
killing
mode.
that gas to kill this drone. That's actually dirty.
And she's gonna get the Nexus first. She's gonna
Yeah.
get the Nexus first. She's killed the drone already, and Hawk must be tilted. No, but we see a pool's already started here. So he had already started at that point, probably like an 11 pool or something like that. 12
No, well,
No?
what it was Hawk was planning on going 12 hatch, I believe, 11 hatch or 12 hatch.
Mhm.
So yeah, when he got that blocked, he knew he immediately had to just make a pool and take the loss. But this is actually really, it's a terrible opening for him because his initial build was delayed, and then Scarlet was getting that 12 Nexus, which is really, really huge. When you get a 12 Nexus like that as Protoss, it's just a huge. I mean, well, it's
12
really
Nexus and then Gateway before Forage. Scarlet definitely plays greedy. She tries to play optimal. I saw her play a couple games against Eon Zerg the other day, and Eon was in shock. And he was appalled by the level of greed that Scarlet plays with. And she's a little bit like you know how like Mini will just put, he'll see like 9 pool speed and he'll just put a core down.
Right.
She's a little bit like that, where you just think like this doesn't make sense, but then it works. And we see
Yeah.
Hawk seeing this greed and pulling drones.
Yeah. This is Drone Rush. This is really interesting, actually. Scarlet needs to pull probes. I don't think she realizes the danger. Oh my god, she canceled the Nexus and she's just wow. Okay,
Yeah, great move by Hawk here, man. Seeing the level of greed Scarlet's playing with and instantly punishes it, forcing the cancel on the Nexus.
I'm actually holy shit.
And the Link still get in.
This is crazy. This is absolutely insane.
This is why you can't be that greedy, guys. You need a cannon, man. You need a forge up. You got away with the Nexus. You didn't need to go with the gateway before the forge, man. It's shocking and appalling degree. You should have seen Eon Zerg's face on his stream, man. He was offended.
Wow, this is I don't even have any words for this game. This is insane. I think Hawk has a huge advantage right now. He actually made his hatchery in his main, I think, just because he was so preoccupied with the multitasking that he wanted to get the minerals down as soon as possible. But honestly, it doesn't matter because that Nexus is going to be so delayed. I think Hawk can basically do whatever he wants right now. He has such a huge advantage with these 4 Lings running around. That delayed Nexus, the extra cannon. Oh my god, this is just wow. I've never seen an EP opening like this.
And Hawk's been playing like he's been just up until like 30 seconds before this game started. Hawk was warming up, and so he's definitely taking this super duper seriously, and he's in form. You know, Hawk just recently won a couple of NA tournaments, man. The guy is sick. So yeah, no, I think Scarlet's in a lot of trouble right now. Once these Lings get in your main, it just disrupts everything for Protoss.
Yeah, 100%. Man, this is crazy. Is he has to be taking a third soon, right? I think he has a drone over at the other natural. So yeah, he's gonna be taking that shortly. It's gonna be sort of delayed far natural style, but these 3 Lings just, he doesn't have to kill that many probes. He has taken a couple probes down, but just delaying everything so much is really wow. So Scarlet actually, I didn't even notice that she canceled the second cannon actually as well.
Yeah, I mean the scary part about these Lings is if they stay alive by the time speed kicks in, and then it becomes a real issue. But we see that Hawk did lose 2 of the Lings, so he's got 1 Ling left. So yeah, I mean Scarlet's out of the woods a little bit. Although if this link can get another probe, that would be pretty bad. And we see the Stargates are pretty late here, man.
Yeah, pretty late, but I think Hawk's tech is quite late as well. He's just been making drones this whole time. He does have Lair on the way, but I don't know. I didn't catch when the Lair started, but I have a feeling he might have to make a den to defend his overlords. Looks like 3 Zealots are actually coming across the map to harass Hawk a little bit here. We'll have to see if he can get Lings up in time.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely been droning up. And yeah, he's got us about 8 Lings here. I think he's gonna be fine. We see another 4. Yeah, he's gonna be more than fine here. Yeah,
absolutely. These Zealots aren't going to do any damage. So, I mean, forcing out the Lings is good, but Hawk does have he has those 3 hatcheries. He has his third at the other natural making right now. He's going to have a lot of larvae to work with, and losing those Zealots early like that, I feel like, she's just putting down the Citadel of Adun. 1 Corsair is starting, but really, she's not going to be able to put any pressure on Hawk.
Yeah, I think Scarlet was just trying to get a little bit of a scout in, right? Make sure there's no Hydra bus coming in. But losing those 3 Zealots for next to nothing, I mean, first off, she just ceded map control because now there's 12 Lings. You can't really move out now until you get up to about 4 or 5 Zealots, which isn't going to be for a little bit. And the other thing is that now, her timing that's supposed to come in about a minute typically she's not gonna have a timing there at 8 minutes. She's not gonna have enough Zealots, so she's in a tough position here.
Yeah. So yeah, Hawk actually sacking an Overlord. He got full scouting information. He knows exactly where her tech is right now. He sees that the Citadel is just finishing at 7 minutes, very, very late. Usually you want your Templar Archive to be finishing around 7 minutes, don't you?
Well, if you go Nexus first, you definitely want that. So for sure, it's definitely a very late Citadel. That means she doesn't have a timing, and she's not gonna have speed until at least 8:39 minutes. So it's gonna be rough. She's gonna have to just figure out how to transition to the mid game. Get some High Templar out, defend until she can get a sizable army. I don't think there's a lot she can get done. She doesn't even have. She's just having a second gateway being put down in the natural. There's no real plausible way. We see Goon. What is starting out of that Stargate? It must be +1 air.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, she's not making any more Corsairs, right? She's just at 3 Corsairs right now. Maybe it is just Goon. Maybe she saw that it was a far nat sort of style, and she's just going to go for a very early, strong range Dragoon push. But
she has 2 gateways. What is it going to be like 2 Dragoons at a time? It's going to be like the Mormon missionaries. We see 2 more gateways being put down. Yeah, maybe it is Dragoons, especially with this far fort style. We see another 4 gateways at one time. So yeah, maybe you're right, man. I was confused.
It's okay. I don't blame you for getting confused. I mean, there's so much Protoss players Brain can handle. So.
No, you're absolutely right, man. Not a Dogecoin millionaire. We see 4 Zealots moving out, but these Zealots are going to get nothing done. There's already a dozen Hydras out, and these are going to go to waste, man.
Yeah. So Scarlet was able to put a little bit of pressure on the 3rd base with the hidden Zealot, and then, I mean, she did delay mining there a little bit. And Hawk is still only on 5 hatcheries. You probably want at least 6 hatcheries and another 4th making right now. But honestly, he has such an advantage. He's basically even in Protoss with supply right now. And I feel like Scarlet probably doesn't even have a Storm done yet. So it's really, honestly, a scary position for her. She has very few Zealots, just 2 cannons, I believe, in her natural. She's just trying to buy time with Corsairs and with Zealots streaming across the map. But if Hawk hits and really applies himself in this attack, he might actually just be able to bust.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a timing here before the Storm finishes. It looks like probably trying to set up for a massive +2 push. But yeah, I don't think she's gonna live long enough to get there. Storm is definitely not done. It's probably close, but yeah, there's only one cannon left. There's 2 Zealots, and yeah, man, Scarlet is screwed here. This might be it. And we see Hawk bringing in. If you spread your Hydra a little bit, and just Templar is so easy to pick off.
Absolutely devastating. All those High Templar are gonna die. I think Hawk has won this game.
Yeah, if Hawk just even shoots down these 2 pylons, Scarlet has no production. Yeah, I think this is Hawk. I think Hawk's done it, man. And I think that would be evening up the series for you guys, right? It would be 1-1.
Yep.
Fancy Scarves versus Dogecoin millionaires, man. Listen, Dogecoin is volatile, man. You guys go up, you guys go down, you guys go up, man.
Can't explain that.
Can't explain it. Can't explain it. Can't be done. And yeah,
But
Scarlet, I think facing some repercussions here for like very greedy play early on. I think if she
yeah,
didn't, if you
well,
just put a forge down first, I
that
think
was
she would have
actually a
won.
really nice storm, and she is buying some time with these zealots in Hawk's main. But at the same time, like she's lost her natural, so yeah, I don't know. I think it's pretty much over. But um, yeah, I don't know. I think this is just she's a phenomenal player. I want to make that clear, but I do think that her lack of experience is kind of showing here with Brood War. You know, her mechanics, her builds are on par, but like she just she's only been playing for a few months. I want to emphasize that.
Yeah, I mean Scarlet is fantastic. I heard she's been beating a lot of the top NA Zergs. I think if anything, it's overconfidence. Has so much faith in her builds, her timings, her control, her mechanics. She was like, I can do this. I'll get away with it.
Yeah,
But you know what
yeah,
Hawk did? He pulled drones. When's the last time you saw a Zerg pull drones? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
what is this like? It's like it would look like a Terran trying to stop a 12 next, and that's exactly what Hawk did.
Yeah, I can almost guarantee you that she has literally never played against a Zerg who's done that before.
And we see these zealots. They're trying to get something done. Maybe you can snipe something, trying to get like a Hail Mary to get her back in the game. But there's so many Hydras out. Like maybe if she caught Hawk droning and got a lot more done than she's supposed to, but that's not what happened here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, delaying the Zerg mining does hurt, but she's so she delays the mining a little bit, but she loses all of those zealots. And I mean, okay, so there's a DT that's knocking down the third base here, but even still, I don't know. Like as long as okay, so Hawk did get Overlord speed finished. Honestly, he doesn't even need that third base. He can just go kill her right now.
I completely agree. Knowing Hawk though, he's probably gonna go take care of that. Probably gonna saturate his main and his natural and his third, and probably start a fourth, and then he's gonna go kill Scarlet. Yeah, but maybe I'm just underselling Hawk because he did just pull drones to stop a greedy build.
Yeah, absolutely. But Pseudo did just point out that there's 6 High Templar, so maybe she is going to be fairly safe from this. I mean, that is a lot of Hydras, but I'm sure her storms are going to be on point. And it's very hard to go into a high ground, especially such a narrow high ground like that with all those zealots against all those High Templar.
It's really hard though if you don't have any zealots. There's only a couple of zealots, all High Templar. It just leaves your High Templar pretty naked, and you'd be surprised how quick they fall. It looks scary, but without any backing, if Hawk just sends 3 or 4 Hydras, for example, just there's nothing to storm. There's 3 or 4 Hydras, and you can snipe down a bunch of those High Templar.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. But like you said, Hawk is probably one of the most patient players in North America. Even with a region with stiff competition with players like Dragon. But I mean, Hawk is, especially among Zergs, like he's not a player like Eon Zerg or like Yaj, for example, who will just have this like unbridled aggression and just constantly be attacking. He will always go for the calm, calculated play and try to push his advantage.
Man is calm to like a fault. I don't think he has a heartbeat. Probably like 1 or 2 per minute, and he's just too chill. Even when he's getting BM, he just chuckles it off. And if you've ever seen him on stream,
absolutely,
man's a saint.
And it's one of his most impressive qualities to me because like I've seen him win games where I would have like left, where it's like, okay, the Protoss has like 1 base more than me. I just like lost a bunch of units. Like I can't win from here. But he'll take like late fourths. He'll take late thirds. He'll just make sure that he is stable. Make sure he gets a lot of drones fully saturated for the bases that he does have, and then just take that calm, methodical approach and like just win games from it because he just knows how to play to his strengths.
The last time Hawk saw me play, or one of the last times, was against you, and I think I almost had the game, and then I eventually like lost. And his comment to me after the game was, I was so close to being proud of you, but now I'm only with just disappointment. And that was it. He didn't follow up and give any thought to the game, and then he left. And I cried myself to sleep that night because that's what that feels like.
But meanwhile, look at all of these High Templar. Holy moly!
Wow, that's a lot of High Templar, man. But as you can see, like Hawk is just trying to bait out storms, while he's getting his 4th up and his lurkers and probably Hive Tech and probably more drones and other Hawk things. But yeah, it's hard to get a lot done if you just have High Templar, even though it looks incredibly terrifying. Like, we see another round of Zealots though. So Scarlet, now we see what Scarlet's pulling out, man. She's got about 15 Zealots here and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8 High Templar, maybe 9. Like, it's nuts. What a ratio.
It is a crazy army. But like you said, it's very hard to use High Templar like that. But even worse for her right now is the fact that I mean, Hawk has high ground advantage. He has Sunkens. He has Lurkers, and he's going to be able to get this fourth base up. He's already on a very healthy economy, despite
But
the
Scarlet has 13 storms.
yeah. That's true. That's true.
It's 13.
That is many. That is a large number of storms.
What's it called? Yeah, he needs to, if you had team melee, right? You guys
Holy-
can like control like 2 or 3 storms each.
Yeah. Man, I just want to see some Mutas swoop in and kill all those. That's insane. It's actually like giving me shivers as a Zerg player.
This is absurd, man. It's giving me a different feeling that I can't share. But it's High Templars, man. I love seeing them in Zerg PvZ. I just want to see some good storms, man. I really hope that Hawk sends a bunch of Hydras and then walks the dog or something, so that we can see some good storms here.
Yeah. Well, he is getting a Spire up here, and his fourth is up, like I said. So I'm expecting him to just start going out of control with this economy. He's going to get Hive soon, I assume. He'll get those full like 3 evos upgrading, and really, when you can just take 4 bases and go to Hive for free, and just get 4 bases saturated instantly with almost no pressure, it is such an insane advantage for Zerg. The only issue that Zerg runs into with the strategy like this is if Protoss can, if Protoss doesn't do any damage early, but they're able to split the map and just kind of expand as they please, then it can put Zerg in a really awkward position going into the very late game. But it's also very hard for Protoss to deal with Hive Tech Zerg.
Yeah, I'm expecting Hawk to go for a massive Muta switch here, because I think that's the answer to this. Like she's got no anti-air other than her 37 storms, but like it's gonna be tough to execute that. And let's see if she actually. I mean, sorry, I keep saying she. I'm mixing it up. Let's see if Hawk actually makes these mutas. We see a bunch of a Scourge that popped out, but I'm not sure what the Scourge are for. I'm sure to snipe to observers, as if Scarlet does try to break. I don't think Scarlet's trying to break. I think she's just trying to delay while she gets her third up. And we see an Arbiter Tribunal. So yeah, man, she likes her Arbiters in PvZ, and it's a good way to get past this this far third style.
Yeah, the thing is, if Hawk does go for the Muta switch and go for like carapace upgrades and stuff, and make sure he can have air superiority, which I think he definitely can, I don't think the Arbiters are going to be able to do anything.
Yeah, and I mean, Arbiters are very easy to Scourge. They're very slow. They're not very there's a reason people don't really go Arbiters, but with something like this, right? I don't see Hawk having a lot of Overlords on the map. If you look at the mini map, like if Scarlet goes straight up from her base or like bottom left and up, like Hawk is not gonna see it coming. So he doesn't really have the Overlord spread that you normally would expect to see at this point in the game.
Yeah, that's 100% true. I'm honestly surprised he's not sandwiching this army. This army did deny 12 o'clock, so he's gonna have his 5th base delayed a little bit, but honestly he's still in a really, really good position. About 20 supply down from Protoss, but going into Hive Tech, and Protoss really isn't going to be able to accomplish anything else, just having to kind of run away. Hawk could honestly just go place that 12 o'clock expansion again, and he has these lings. Just this is what you can do once you get to Hive Tech and you get the crackling adrenal glands upgrade. Just have 2 groups of Zerglings just running around, and it's so hard for Protoss to clean up because Zerglings are so fast and they kill everything so quickly.
Oh wow, and our observer just pointing out that Hawk only has 1/1 upgrades on his lings, which is a little low here at this point in the game, right? And for Scarlet at 2/1, so Scarlet does have this upgrade advantage. I thought that Hawk would be at least at 2/2 by now.
Honestly, given the circumstances of the game, I don't think it's that absurd that he's at just 1/1 right now. Scarlet's at 1/2, which is definitely not a standard upgrade timing for 20 minutes into the game in PvZ. But this has just been such a crazy game. I think it's totally fine. Hawk's second carapace upgrade is probably on the way for sure. So it's not such a huge disadvantage in terms of upgrades.
Yeah, we see Scarlet denied the 12 o'clock once. Hawk trying to take it again. This crevice is a little bit tough for the Protoss, right? Because you're coming in and looks like a death trap, but she just has so much storm, and you know that she's got incredible mechanics. She's gonna get them off, and we see she's doing quite a bit of damage here. But it's so tough to go up these ramps in PvZ.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way she's actually going to get up that ramp. But one thing I'm surprised about is that there is no Defiler. I think if Hawk just had a couple Dark Swarms down, he would have been able to defend this 12 o'clock. But it does look like, I don't know, that army is getting thinned out, so maybe she won't even be able to deny this 12 o'clock. We'll have to see.
Yeah, that army is looking super thin. Like she used a lot of the storm there. She's down to a quote unquote only 4 High Templar from her earlier count of around 9 or 10. So yeah, I mean, Scarlet's showing signs of weakness here, but she is still trying to set up this high ground. This high ground base is for. I mean, with 2 High Templar already put up a bunch of cannons. It might be tough to break, but we see an Arbiter just accumulating energy, probably setting up for a recall shortly, and that's one way to get past these lurkers, man.
Yeah, but Hawk's map vision is quite, healthy right now. As you pointed out earlier, he was a little delayed to get the Overlords out, but he's going to have a very clear line of sight to any pathways the Arbiter is going to want to take towards his main or his top left base.
I wonder if we're going to see any plagues here, because these Dragoons look juicy for some plagues. And I don't know if Hawk had ever scouted 6 o'clock. I might have missed it. Maybe there was a whole battle there and I'm forgetting. But there's a very good chance that he doesn't know it's there, because I can't imagine he wouldn't have tried to punish it before.
I don't think he ever actually officially scouted it, but I do think that he probably just assumes that she took it because it's the kind of natural place where Protoss would take it.
Right, but he's got these lings running around. It's a little odd that he wouldn't have sent them down there. We see he's trying to deny this, and this is up, right? Like this is, but
with Storms there, I think it'll be perfectly defended.
Yeah, for sure. We see the Defiler coming down, probably setting up for a Darkstorm attack or defending probably at the what is that, 9 o'clock? I have to look at a clock, but no, we see a plague. Great plague.
Nice plague. Yeah, and these Defilers being out now are just going to render this army completely impotent. I mean, this army isn't going to be able to do anything.
It's absurd how we see a recall coming in, but
oh my god, right!
Oh no! And she's been building up to that for a while now, and that's the weakness of Scourge and of Arbiters and PvZ, man. It's just one little, Zergs are smarter than Terrans, and that's really the issue.
You mentioned that they had played, and so I guess this is just Hawk knowing the style that she likes to go for. That was like there's no other reason you would have that many Scourge right there.
Yeah, no, he definitely expected it, especially against this style. And I don't think it was even just in that game. I think this is something she does commonly against this style. So it might just be something, because I watched that game, but they've definitely played otherwise like plenty of times, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. She's been grinding against everyone, even lower level players. She literally like takes games with anyone she can get. Her dedication and just constant grinding and improvement is really incredible to me.
Yeah. Plus she plays Protoss, which obviously makes everything a lot easier, right, Keen?
Of course. But I mean, that's just all the more impressive that she would just pick the race that she knows she could succeed with.
Yep.
I mean, she's not a StarCraft player. She's a StarCraft 2 player. So
yeah.
If she had more time, maybe she would switch to a more challenging race.
Right. Probably why you're so bad at it.
Well.
Yeah. See Scarlet going into the natural of Hawk, but I think she's mined out of her main international. She's still on 2 bases. But I just can't see a way with that Arbiter going down. Like she has no move here. Can't really go up these ramps. And
yeah. I think Hawk. I mean, the supplies are actually, Hawk was actually ahead in supply for a while, but Scarlet has pulled ahead now. She's about 40 supply up, but I don't think that is really an accurate depiction of how this game is going right now. I mean, Hawk got that 5th up finally, and he's going to get 12 up eventually. So yeah, I think he just has a huge advantage right now. This Hive Tech is just going to start getting out of control with these Defilers, with the Dark Swarms, the Plagues. It's such an Archon and Dragoon heavy army. And yeah, so Scarlet got the 4th base up, but that 4th base only has like 6 mineral patches. It's very hard to crack, but it's also not. It's just not very resource heavy. So.
And the 6 o'clock has been up for a while. I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to start drying up shortly for Scarlet. So she's a little bit on a timer here. Meanwhile, Hawk's got all the time in the world. And we know that she's setting up for another recall. Hopefully she puts a Corsair or something in front of it to scout for and eat any Scourge that might be there. But let's see if she can get anything done with them. I just want to see the recall.
Well, yeah, but even bigger issue right now is this army. I mean, it's actually doing a lot of work, so I think it's definitely paying for itself. But I was worried that it was just going to get sandwiched and get trapped here and die.
I mean, it still might, because we see Hawk coming in with a flank coming up the towards 12 o'clock from the left, and these lurkers from the right. So it's still gonna die, man. You're just ahead of your time, Keen.
Yeah, no, it's definitely going to die, but I do think it maybe comes
A lot of army to die, man. You don't want to lose your dragoons. It's not even just about how much they cost, it's about how long it takes to build dragoons. Although you don't really, once Dark comes out, they're not really that effective. But losing this army is huge. I think Hawk's probably going to take the supply lead once this army gets killed. And then what is probably going to recall? What's gonna come in that attack here?
Well, she's taking a little bit of a different angle here, but there are Hydras there.
Hawk is more than ready. Yeah.
But will she get an angle?
Like, even if she gets it off, like, what, you know what I mean? There's gonna be Hydras there, so I mean, it's gonna be tough, man. I don't know, man. I don't know what she's gonna do here. She's got to get up another base. She's trying to set up mid right at the 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock position, and I don't think Hawk sees it. Still doesn't have that many overlords spreading around and tricking for expansions, but if she can get that up, maybe there's a chance. But I can't really see it right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I think she maybe can get that expansion up, but still, Hawk is getting 12 up. He's in such a great. Like, just look at all of his resources that are bank. She's going to try to recall here, but I don't think this is the way.
This is a death trap.
Ooh, yeah.
Wow.
That is such a clean up.
Wow, insane. Without a single missile turret either.
120 supply for Scarlet. Wow, yeah. This game is all but over at this point. Hawk has complete map control. I don't think there's any way she can come back.
No, Hawk can take as many bases as he wants. He just got to go scout a little more. We see him starting to spread out his overlords even more now, looking for these drop ships or arbiters that may be coming in. Like, look at that map. Like, you can't really get anywhere near Hawk if he doesn't see it 3 minutes earlier. And we see she has another recall almost ready. She's probably going to camp around at the 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock position, trying to get it up. But it's going to be futile, man. I think it's just delaying the end here. She's probably mining out at her 6 o'clock very soon. As you mentioned earlier, that the high, yeah. So she's got a couple of minutes left there, not even. And the high ground only has 6 mineral patches, so she's left. Yeah, so it's rough tides for her right
now. Yeah. Let's see what the Zerg upgrades are.
I think it's 3-3, dude. There it is.
3-3 for everything. Yeah. So. Yeah, the advantages that Scarlet can actually say she has right now are pretty few. I mean, I honestly do like the Arbiter tech, but yeah, we were really saying it's big weaknesses. This game, they're just so slow. If Zerg,
it's more effective if Zerg just isn't expecting it at all.
Yeah, and to be fair, they are a little rare, but it's obvious that Hawk was expecting 100% this game.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe it's something she does commonly. But we see this is a pretty strong Reaver push coming in the bottom left. If she can take this out and maybe send a probe down there or a Nexus, and we see a probe is coming actually. So
yeah, but just all units from the entire map streaming down now to put a squash on this.
Great storms, great AOE damage coming in from the Reavers, but they just don't stop coming. It seems like she's killing everything, and they're just more still. So,
yeah. I mean, it is a high ground advantage. Hawk, I think there's some units that he sent down there that were kind of lagging behind a little bit. A bunch of lurkers, but yeah, actually she cleaned that up way better than I expected, but still, even more units streaming down now.
If you look at the mini map, it's just never going to stop.
Yeah. And Hawk is such a huge bank. Like, this, losing all those units doesn't even really matter. He could lose his army like 3 more times.
Of course he has a huge bank. He's a Dogecoin. He's stupid.
That's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. I mean, Hawk is, like we mentioned, one of the most savvy investors. He's a professional accountant, right? So, like...
Probably spent all her money on fancy scarves.
Yeah, I mean, fancy scarves? Come on.
Scarves. So, I mean, so now we see she's drying up here. Hawk's getting bottom left up, and yeah, man, but she did get mid right up, and that's gonna be tough to break because there's 2 high top players. There's 2 sort of funnels you have to get into to break that. So Hawk eventually will probably turn his attention towards it, but it's gonna take a lot of investment time to take it down.
I don't know, but I mean, even so, the 3 o'clock, it's still like what 6-7 mineral patches. Look at the supply differential here. That's not something that you usually see in PvZ. Usually, if it's even supply.
Maybe you don't see it. I see it all the time.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Grabbing the Zarg.
Usually, if the Zerg and Protoss are even on supply, it's a big advantage. But when Zerg is 60 supply ahead, it's very bad news for the Protoss.
Yeah, no, it's Hawk just playing out of his mind, man. You know what it is? You know, he's meticulous. He's a guy that does his homework, you know, crosses his T's, dots his I's, and he just doesn't rush. You know, he just makes the right move every time. He's like the Zerg Dragon. The Zerg Dragon does play Zerg at times. Like he's very similar, I think.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. And one of the things I respect most about Hawk too is that while he does study pro gamers, he just puts a lot of thought into his own gameplay. And like you said, you know, he's very patient, but he also he thinks through these late game situations and like unusual situations that most players don't. It's always funny to hear his descriptions of games. Like you said earlier, you know, he was like watching one of your games and talking about how you had a huge advantage, just ended in disappointment. Like I've gone over replays of games before where he sees that I have a worker disadvantage early, and he's like, "Yeah, this game is lost. Like we can stop watching the replay." I'm like, dude, I ended up winning this game. But he thinks about the game in a very idiosyncratic way.
Yeah, I mean, he does also often make takes, and you know, have opinions that are absurd, but you know, they're all well thought out. I mean,
there is a logic behind it. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, I mean, it's wrong sometimes, but he's never said willy nilly. He just thought meticulously the wrong thing, which is fine. But when it comes to StarCraft, you know,
he just has a sixth sense. You know, he just he's just too. He's just living in the future, dude. Like you don't even know. He's never actually wrong.
You know, Hawk is a classic man from the past and a man from the future at the same time. You know what I'm saying?
Also a man from the present.
Also a man from the present right now.
He's literally omnipresent.
He's a triple threat. He's a triple threat. And so yeah, I mean, Scarlet fighting, man. She's a fighter. She's not giving up. She's got another base up. She's trying to. She's literally got 4 Dragoons, 3 Zealot Friends, and 2 High Templar. You know, and she's like, I'm staying in this game. I'm taking more bases. I really like the fight from Scarlet.
Did you just call them Zealot Friends?
Yeah, Zealot buddies. You know, they're gonna be on a sitcom later. When there's any 2 or 3 of anything, man, it's not an army. It's a group of friends.
Man, you Protoss players have way too much time on your hands.
Yeah, man, that's why we play Protoss, because we got shit to do. You guys are busy practicing, busy pressing hold position behind minerals and winning games. And we see a lurker drop, but great.
A little premature there.
Yeah, but Hawk.
But I love the idea behind it. I think Hawk can actually just put lurkers down on the low ground and still hit those.
Oh, is that right?
It looks like it to me. I'm not 100% though.
Seems unfair. No, I don't think so. It's too far.
I don't know. But
I think Hawk knows. I think Hawk is smart enough. He would have known.
Yeah, probably. Anyway, 2K to 2K minerals, 3K gas, 200. It's just a matter of it's actually really hard to mobilize this massive army here. So this is why it's taking a while, but this game is basically a foregone conclusion.
Yeah, Scarlet's on 2 bases now. I'm surprised she managed to take this and the other base, but Hawk also hasn't been super duper diligent about denying bases. You know, he's been very good about trying to take out bases that are up, and that's what he's going to do with this high ground base here. But yeah, he hasn't been active with keeping links in every base and making sure, you know, Nexus can't go down or anything like that. But there's only so much you can do, man. You see him, he's set up bottom left. He's got the whole map. You know, almost every base is taken except for those 2 mid left, the high ground ones, ahead of the top left and top right. And we see Hawk finally going in for the kill on the
this base doesn't matter now.
Yeah, he just wants vision. He wants his overlords to hang out there.
He's probably just going to start placing hatcheries around the map just to establish dominance.
Yeah.
Right, so he can get the +2 gas per worker from this gas. Maybe, I don't know. Let's see this.
Coming in. But yeah, Hawk is ready.
That is such a sad army.
I mean, that's a lot of High Templars, man. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 High Templar. And we see all those lurkers pumped up. So it's going to get a lot done, I think. Or at least deny this base, maybe even take down the hatchery.
Really, I think it's just going to piss Hawk off.
I don't want to see an angry Hawk. Disappointed was bad enough.
Yeah, he's disappointed very often, but you don't see him angry.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
that was
Nine
juicy.
kills on that
Look,
one.
look at this. Look at that.
But the
What
hat
did
trick.
what did I tell you?
Oh wait, did it hit from?
It hit from the low ground. I told you. Don't ever question me again.
You gotta tell Hawk this when he could have been doing this for the whole time. Actually, that probe was fine, dude. Our observer just pointed out that probe.
He doesn't have vision there now. He doesn't have vision there now. Don't ever question me again.
All right, well, that sucks, man. You should get vision there.
Well, I'm not the one who's playing Hawk is. I would have had vision there.
Of course, you would have died. You would have let Scarlet get away with the gateway before 4. She probably wouldn't have put down the 4. She probably would have went 4 after the gateway.
If it was me and I drone rushed her, I would have just kept massing lanes and killed her. Let's be real.
I'm lost. Yeah, she does manage to take out, have a successful recall here and take it out, but now her army's kind of stuck here, unless she recalls it back out, which is another idea. And yeah, she's close, man. If Hawk doesn't kill this now, she can get out and maybe even recall mid left. Can't see where else she would recall into, but Hawk is gonna go and take this out now. Yeah, he's still up in supply. Still got a commanding lead on this game. He's taking those 2 high grounds, the mid and the. I guess I don't even know how to call those the 2 high grounds.
Yeah, like middle bases.
Middle bases. The Arbiter lives with 9 health.
Does it have energy to recall?
In about 20 seconds or more.
I don't think it's going to live that long.
Now with that mindset, let's see. Oh, yeah, you're right. The launch down it goes. No. Oh, he finally takes it down. Yeah, so Hawk finally cleans this up. Does Scarlet have a way? She's got a bit of an army. She's been macroing.
I'm honestly surprised that she built up that army with the resources that she does have. She's very low econ right now.
Yeah, Scarlet's a fighter, man. It's absurd, man. I would have given up a long time ago. But not only is she fighting, but she's getting things done too. Right? She did take out that bottom left. She's gonna take this high ground up at least temporarily. And yeah, you see a probe coming in. She wants to take it out, and then she wants to take the base. So Scarlet isn't quitting. She wants to win this game.
Yeah, but this base is going to go down. I think this is yeah. She'll be on one like half of the base after this dies. Like the one thing about these bases is they are quite hard to bust if they're like well established. But she just had 2 cannons there, 1 Reaver. So this army going out of place to kill that 1 hatchery from Hawk just got instantly punished.
She did clean up a bunch of this, but Hawk's got reinforcements coming out. But she's also then coming to this round. She might hold on to this for a little longer, it looks like. But yeah, I mean, if she manages to take that high ground on the top left high ground, like that'll be a little bit surprising. I don't think she will.
No, she has to secure this current base right now. And Hawk's got units all over the map. Like he doesn't even have one force that's going, but he's still cleaning this army up with just like small groups of lings and stuff. And Scarlet just doesn't have the resources to keep making large amounts of units at this point.
Yeah, no, definitely not. But I think given the position she was coming in from, I think she's played fantastically.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and especially coming back from that absolutely insane beginning.
Yeah, no, it's super impressive, man. This is.
I mean, like I was saying, you know, maybe she's a little weak to getting put into these like very strange positions, so she got a disadvantage from that. But at the same time, you know, we can see her just like huge amount of experience playing games competitively, playing StarCraft 2, and just staying in the game. Like that takes an insane mindset to be able to almost come back and take a victory and make the game 40 minutes long after such an early disadvantage.
We're seeing how strong these high ground things are, because you have to come into this funnel. If you have a Reaver and a couple of high Templars behind, you have to use this is like the 3rd time. Scarlet finally GG's. Hawk playing great, but he was 100% struggling to take these high grounds out, man. Coming into this funnels, I saw doing a fantastic job controlling, storming, Reaver positioning, everything.
Yeah, what a game! This is one of the strangest games I've ever seen, but a really, really incredible game.
Yeah, no, Scarlet just showing us a fantastic game, but Hawk pulling it through, man. It's still Hawk, and you can tell he prepared for this, and he's played meticulous. Man played amazing, for sure. Sick
yeah,
game.
Absolutely. But we will be going into our second team melee of the Turf Force 2. I'm really, really interested to see this because I haven't actually seen T21 and Raz play Team Melee yet, and I haven't seen Machine and Striker either. But like I said earlier, I've heard through the grapevine that Striker and Machine were actually practicing their Team Melee gameplay against Scarlet. So who knows?
Pretty sick. Yeah, I mean, and they're both, like you said, are similar styles of players. So I think they can just completely be simpatico. Just one. And it's a TT1 and Raz. I mean, that could be a sick team too, man. You got two very, very strong Protosses. Yeah, man, I'm actually kind of excited, surprisingly. Not that I wasn't excited, but I actually haven't thought about this until just now, like that the matchup are these four players.
Yep. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. And it's on Polypoid too, so I don't know. I mean, I assume TT1 is going to be doing the macro because TT1 is a player that's really known for just like macroing out of control. I mean, I think his micro is also very solid. He is like a big fan of going gate FE and just like doing that kind of play style where he just constantly sends out every single zealot and just like whether he hides them out on the map or sends them behind mineral lines or actually just tries to kill lings and drones, like his zealots are just everywhere and it's like nonstop aggression early game, which I think could end up being very strong.
I genuinely don't think they're gonna go gate first in Team Melee, man. I just don't think so.
I'll bet you $10 right now that they go gate.
You are a Dogecoin millionaire. I'll take that bet, man.
Okay.
I'll take that bet. Yeah, let's see. I mean, you should just Venmo me the $10 before the game starts.
I'll pass, but we'll see.
We're going into this game. It's gonna be in Polypoid, is that right?
Yes, all the Team Melees for the first round robin will be Polypoid.
All right, and we have Raz and TT1 as the red Protoss on the top right, and we have Striker and Machine as the pink white Zerg on the top left. Did I say top left twice? I said top right first. Machine showing some good manners against his buddy Raz. Good luck, have fun. And TT1 have good fun. And Raz already with the offensive GG, very, very horrible, very rude.
Oh yeah, GGGL is actually like low key BM, right?
So it's high key BM. You're literally saying good game. Also, good luck in life and your future endeavors after you leave this game, because the game's over. GG. Good luck.
God, that's really gross.
It's rude, man. I think we need to start stamping out this kind of behavior. And it's toxic. It's a toxic thing to do.
Well, this is just a big toxic community in general. One of the worst game communities I've ever been a part of. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. 100%. When Mars left after I bullied him, I understood. Like, people like me should be banned.
Well, let's be honest, though. He probably deserves it, though, right?
I mean, he deserves it, too. 100%. And we see... Oh, it is going to be... So I'm going to owe you $10. You just spend it on Doge. We see Gateway first. I think it's a mistake.
Maybe I should spend it on Doge.
I think it's a mistake. Who's this typing? Is TT1? Yeah, it's hard to read that. What's he saying?
He said yours. I assume he means the pro.
Or is he allied with somebody here?
I think it's just the fact that our observer can see all the chat. I'm assuming he's on allied chat.
I don't think the observer can see all of it. It might be wrong.
Yeah, you are wrong.
That's rare. Almost never.
Mm.
One time I thought I was wrong, and I wasn't.
And then you owed me $10 because of it.
Well, I'm not gonna be wrong in that. I think it's a mistake. I think Strike is gonna see this. And
well, I mean, let's be honest. These two players aren't the most aggressive, right? They're not like a Crossy.
Right, but Striker is also a very, very smart player, and I think he knows. He's been playing a bunch of Team Melee last couple of days, and that's one of the things they've even called out. Like, if they go gate first, the game's over. Because 100% those are lings. It's gonna be 6 lings. It's gonna run right by. They're not even try to fight the zealot. And I agree with this. I think this might have been a big mistake.
Well, we'll have to see.
We will, man. And maybe TT1 and Raz don't know about this because I don't. How much Team Melee have they been practicing? They're not even on voice, right? He said he already typed it out. He tweeted him.
I don't know, man. That Zell just got 2 free hits already, so.
I mean, that's fine. That's you see, yeah, one ling on 10, but they've got to go back. If those lings get in, man, it's just gonna be a problem.
Yeah, well, they won't get in.
See? Oh, we see he's pulling out 2 probes. Now you got 3 probes not mining. A situation that wouldn't have happened if you went forward first. And now if they can catch this zealot up in the open, like this is the problem though, because you have a guy dedicated just to the zealot micro, and yes, you do also have someone dedicated to the zealot micro, but I think, and we see more lings coming in at a striker and machine. So yeah, I mean, I think they're trying to capitalize, but TT1 Raz do a good job defending here.
Yeah, they're doing a great job.
We see the gas coming up already for the Zerg team, and we see, oh, but they might get in, dude. Are you sure? And maybe you spoke a little too soon there. These probes are gonna die.
A little bit messed up with the zealots there. Yeah, I agree. That was a little sloppy.
That's you spoke a little soon there. That's 2 probes down, and you know what the problem is? That these lings are never gonna die. Well, maybe if they do that. Yeah,
Wow.
I meant these lings, not the.
Oh, okay.
Those 2 were. Everybody knew those 2 were gonna die.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
You just tell when they popped out. You knew they were not long for this world.
They have different personalities. They're different.
They're just yeah. They didn't study hard at Zergling school.
You can see with the mini map that Machine is macroing the lings and Striker is macroing, and we know that Raz is macroing, or maybe he's macroing the Zealot. Can't really tell because the Protoss, both Protosses are in their main.
Yeah, I mean, do you really need to like look at your units when you're microing them as Protoss? You just kind of like move them, right?
I mean, yeah, and it's crazy because all the other races are so bad that it still works. Yeah, we see 4 Zealots coming out.
I'm glad you agree that all the other races are worse than Protoss.
Oh no, I 100% agree. I think that the users for them are really stupid for picking it, because why would you do something harder for the team?
Some of us have a thing called honor. Oh, these zealots though are not being microed.
That's a huge mistake. There's a bunch. I don't think he expected those lings, and speed is done, and they're going to be cleaned up. They tried to get into that little wedge, but they still got surrounded. And now you have 2 speedlings in your main. The machine's entire job right now is to control them. So it's going to be a little rough. Those are the same 2 lings that I pointed out earlier that weren't going to die. I wasn't even talking about the 3rd one that died. That one was always going to die. But these 2 are never going to die.
Yeah, definitely an advantage for the Zergs.
You can just run by right now. Oh, Force is a pro pull, but we'll move back here.
I'm actually surprised because, you know, like you said, Striker is a very smart player, but he's usually not a very aggressive player with things like this. But I do think it's definitely the right choice. And they're actually going for an early Hydra Den as well. So they see the late tech from Protoss. This Stargate is going to be so late. So I think that this Zerg is actually in a really good position right now. If they can just pressure with like 4 or 5 hatch Hydra, they can probably just kill the Protoss.
Yeah, I think Protoss is in a really rough position here, because this is still a 5 hatch Hydra. With Striker just well, 1, 2, 3, I don't know if there's a 5th hatch. I lied. This is a 4 hatch Hydra, but yeah, the tech is late. The supplies are even. I mean, they're close at this point. Like they shouldn't be. The tech is so late for Protoss, and he's still got a ling in his main, and he's to pull probes. Like this is the worst feeling when you're Protoss.
Absolutely, and he doesn't even have a second gate right now. It's going to be. TT1 is giving a little motivational speaking.
What is T1 even doing right? He's probably like, he's in the natural, so it looks like T1 might be acting Dirt Cannon. Always feel good. Interesting to read into.
I think he's just going to wait to scout with the Sarah. And I think he will have time. Like these Hydras are going to be fairly. They're just popping now, but
yeah, they didn't know if it was going to be like an earlier Hydra bust. But
again, it is a lot of. I expect they'll throw down cannons right when the.
No, there has to be a lair up. Yeah, no, where's the lair? Why does he have 2 gas if there's no lair?
They're just going to go straight Hydra, and they're not even going to get a lair. I think it's just so they can support the extra Hydras from all these hatcheries. Because one gas doesn't support 5 hatchery Hydra.
Oh, got it. I had no idea. I don't have to know about us. But yeah, I don't see how Protoss can get back into this because look at the mini map. It's just they're just gonna be spamming Hydras nonstop, rallying into the Protoss natural. Um, it's not even a cannon thing. He needs High Templars that he doesn't even have any completed. So
Yeah, he definitely is in a hard position right now. He doesn't have Templar archives yet,
yeah,
but at the same time, the Zerg Tech, I don't think they've even started Lair yet.
you don't need Lair at this point.
Yeah, you don't if there's no Dark
There's no
Templar. But...
storms. There's nothing.
Oh yeah, wow! Only 3 cannons still. He can just go kill right now. He can just kill.
Yeah, if he stops this upgrade though, that will steal it for sure. Though.
He doesn't need it. The upgrade doesn't matter if you can just kill.
Yeah, man. Honestly, I actually think he comes back to those lings in the main early. I don't think they would have been.
I don't know. I mean, the lings in the main were definitely bad, but I think it's more of the zealots just not doing anything, just wasting all their zealots early, and then taking the hit from the lings in the main and everything, just sealed the deal. But like, yeah, that was just kind of a I don't know. It's a strange decision to.
Team Scarf sort of having a dominating victory in this team melee. I think, yeah, really strong win from Striker and Machine here. You can tell they've been practicing for sure.
Absolutely. Very impressive play. I'm surprised.
So now we have 2-1 for Fancy Scarves. And what is the next match we're going to? We're going to see TT1 finally. Is that right?
Yeah, TT1 against Striker.
That should be a sick game, actually.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one.
Let's see if TT1 can force an ace match.
I have faith in TT1 because I know he has a reputation for being inactive, but I've actually practiced with him quite a bit on this map, and he's very solid.
Yeah, no, I believe it. I've heard so much about TT1. I haven't really seen him play, so I'm very excited. And we know that Striker is a fantastic Zerg, so this is going to be a sick matchup. TT1 needs to win this, force the ace match. And maybe we'll see if there is an ace match, possibly a Hawk Scarlet rematch. Who knows? But yeah, we're starting up. We've got TT1 as the green Protoss bottom left, and we've got Striker as the blue Zerg in the bottom right. This is the 3-player Blue Storm, right?
Yeah, it is. Like I said earlier, I think I don't know. Striker is probably very comfortable on this as well because I know he's a very meticulous player himself. He studies Koreans a lot. His build orders are on point, and he is very, very much so a macro Zerg. So I have a feeling he's at the very least going to go 11 hatch, if not 12 hatch, and really just get into like a hardcore macro mode here. Well, TT1 is going to go gate first and just try to apply pressure early and probably go for a very strong like 2-base like heavy zealot timing. He tends to like builds like that, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Striker definitely likes to play sort of the Hydra style as well. I mean, he definitely has mutas in him, but I think he's very comfortable going into Hydra pressure and then a strong like battle Zerg mid game. But yeah, we're gonna see a gateway first from TT1 here. It's gonna be a 10 gate, or is it gonna be a forward? No, it's gonna be a 10 gate. Yeah, good opener. It's like an eco. It's an eco gate first. Come down at 119. Yeah, man. Excited to see how this pans out. Do you think TT1's played this map at all a lot? I know he's been a little inactive. I know you said you practiced with him, but how familiar do you think he is, or how many reps do you think he's run on this map?
Yeah, I have played against him. I haven't played in the last couple days, but I do know he's played several games on Ascension specifically, but he's also been ramping up his activity just in general. So I think he knows the map well.
See Striker's Overlord going in the right way. He's going to see the gate first. There's multiple paths for the Zealot to come out, right, for the Protoss here?
I mean, yeah, but I think he's just going to take the one path, the closest one to the Zerg. The thing is, though, I mentioned possibly doing it at 12 hatch, but Striker is just going for the more conservative 11 hatch, so his pool is just a few seconds faster than it would have been. And this was a 10 gate, so Striker should take absolutely no damage from these early Zealots.
Yeah, for sure. Depends on how greedy he gets with these early lanes. He might want to go for a run, but we saw it was team melee last game, so maybe he made a different decision. Striker plays a little more conservatively. But let's see. I mean, I don't know how TT1 executes his gate first. 10 gate, Zealots are a little later, so yeah, Striker should definitely be safe. But let's see how aggressive TT1 is. He's sending Zealot out pretty far without seeing. I guess you have to is hatch first, but you can't get too much done here.
I think TT1 he really likes applying pressure to the third base of Zerg rather than trying to like go into the main with the first zealot, which I do find very fucking annoying, to be honest. Like this if the drone, okay, it did place the hatchery, but it's going to take a lot of damage, and it's very scary when the hatchery just started hatching and is already being hit by zealots. It's not something you can really ignore. So it's going to force Striker to actually go up there and kill the zealot rather than going towards T21's main.
Yeah, the best part of this is that it forces the Zerg to engage with the zealot instead of going to attack the Protoss. So at home, the Protoss can actually be a little more greedy, and delay the forge, maybe even go core before forge, depending on how much he gets done. But that zealot got cleaned up a lot quicker than I expected. But you see that there's no real overlords, unless maybe I can't see it on the minimap. Okay, so he does have an overlord there, but he doesn't know which direction the zealot is in the middle of the map. So he's got to go find the zealot and kill it. So yeah, I mean, these are ways the Protoss can keep the Zerg away from his natural before he has his cannon up, and it's definitely something you need to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice play by T21 so far, and yeah, it's such a threat just having the zealots out on the minimap. Like it really forces Zerg to stay behind, at least with 3 or 4 Zerglings. And yeah, he's
back, right?
No, it's still there's a Zelda on the map. Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
And yeah, as long as he just gets behind the minerals, like you said, I was actually surprised at how quickly that Zeld behind the minerals got cleaned up. But he still got a decent trade with it. When Zelds are behind the minerals, it's always going to be an okay trade.
Yeah, you're not. It's not going to be. It's not going to be non. It's going to be not. It's not going to be non-zero. Oh, I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know.
I understand. I understand what you mean. But
yeah, it's going to be something. Something's going to happen.
It's going to at least go even.
I'm going to see it. I'm going to try to talk about it, and you'll get it.
Oh man, these probes Maynard did a little incorrectly here. I hope he sees that soon. That's really sucks to have 4 probes not mining at this stage of the game.
And you know what the worst feeling is? That you don't you'll be playing the game and you don't know why your minerals are low or why you don't have certain gas. You look at your gas, you look at your probes, like, oh, they're all mining, and then you watch the replay and it's something like this. Like he's gonna be kicking himself.
Yeah, it's the worst when you're going for like an early game timing or just trying to get your tech up on time, and then you realize that you have like 2 on gas, so everything's gonna be delayed. And then like certain positions, like if you don't get your anti-air in time versus Corsairs, like you're just gonna take a ton of damage.
Dude, the other day I thought I started my Nexus PvZ gate first. Yeah, I go in my natural and then I'm like defending against the lane, then blocking the ramp. I never started my Nexus, and it was too late at that point. So yeah,
that is rough.
Yeah, I was like, oh, there's no Nexus. Okay, what do I do here? Let's see if he's caught those probes yet. Are they still sitting there, Pseudo? And he's just finally saw them. There's still 1 left, but yeah, man, that's rough.
Really unfortunate, but I mean, he's still doing all right. He got his tech down very quickly. He's been delaying so much with these Zelds. Just sending like I said, sending so many Zelds out. Not even being super aggressive with the very early initial Zelds, but just like, hiding 1 and delaying the mining from the 3rd a little bit, and then getting a couple in the main. Like he has full scouting. That's one of the most frustrating things is like, as a Zerg player, you always want to tell yourself like, oh, he's losing all these Zealots, blah, blah, blah. Like he's not going to be able to hit a crazy timing. But like the fact is that it still throws you off. It taxes your multitasking. And then the Protoss knows exactly what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we see Striker's Spire just finishing up. He's gonna lose an Overlord. Probably won't lose 2, I don't think. And he's just setting up for the most standard mid game. He got his Evo Chamber, his 5th hatchery, his 2nd gas. And yeah, man, Striker, this is a guide on how to play ZVP, pretty much. Striker is following it by the book right now.
Yeah, Striker does have a very healthy number of drones, but like I said, because I think he was getting thrown off a little bit, I think his, as Pseudo pointed out a few seconds earlier, but I think it's still the case where Striker has a ton of drones that is natural, but his 3rd is very undersaturated right now. Looks like he has corrected that a little bit.
Yeah.
Still undersaturated with 3rd, but...
Striker has had a history of having tournament nerfs, right? I think he himself says he has 300 MMR worse in tournaments versus in real life. But I think maybe playing that team melee first, eases out some nerves, gets your hands a little warm, because we see Striker playing fantastically here.
Yeah, 100%. Striker, yeah, he hasn't had amazing tournament results, but he does have a lot of problems with nerves. I don't think his tournament results are really accurate to his actual skill.
Yeah, for sure. He definitely plays a little from what I've seen, like not like from what I've seen in practice versus in tournaments, it's a different player. But this looks like Striker to me. So I'm kind of excited and happy to see it. Yeah, maybe getting a Team Melee out of the way. Maybe that's a secret. Where you just macro for a game, you know what I mean, and you don't have to worry about anything else. Like that could be a good way to zone out nerves. And we see this move out coming in, but there's a lot of Scourge here.
Yeah. No, I totally agree about the Team Melee thing. Like, I know a lot of players, sometimes they just go into like single player and just like macro builds in single player just to warm up. I personally never warm up because, I'm just a man. I'm who needs a warm up, right? I'm just so talented and so sick. but players who actually do well in tournaments probably usually warm up.
Yeah, I know that Bonnet was talking about how he has like this whole full routine he does all morning before a game, and so we see TT1 getting ready for really strong timing here. He's got 7 Corsairs with +1 that should finish up shortly. He's got about a dozen Zealots, and I don't know if Striker has quite enough here. I don't know how many units Striker has. I didn't see a huge. We see like these Mutas and these Scourge, but there's not a very large Hydra count. He's scrambling to get some Hydras out here, but he might be in some trouble right now, man.
Yeah, it depends on how these Scourge can thin out the Corsair numbers, but this is a lot of Hydras from Striker, so attacking through this choke isn't really going to do it. I think he's going to be totally fine.
He's got him on move command. Oh, and okay, he's got.
Oh wow, total miscontrol of the Corsairs there. Having 2 of those outside of the main Corsair group really hurt. It looks like he's still maybe going to get some Overlord kills though.
Yeah, I mean, when you make 10 Corsairs, you have to get some Overlord kills, man. I don't think he's got enough Overlord kills. If anything, the Zerg doesn't have Overlord speed. You should be getting more done with these Corsairs. You see him trying, but and Overlord speed just finished. He's gonna lose 1 more Overlord, but I don't think TT1 did enough damage for how much he invested in this attack.
And that is amazing SimCity, by the way, at Striker's third. Like there is no way that Zealots are gonna get anything done there.
Yeah, he's got every choke, everything. You can tell Striker definitely prepared a lot for this. He's got great SimCity. He's got great army positioning. And wow, that's a lot. I think that middle gateway is blocked in though, the one next to the Nexus. But other than that, like that's a pretty sick crit.
I mean, as long as you just make Zealots or High Templar from there, it doesn't really matter, right?
I think so, but you want the option to make things, right?
Yeah, I suppose.
The mineral line.
These 4 mutas are actually being quite a nuisance, though, delaying the third a little bit. They will get cleaned up by these Corsairs, but
he needs to poke into this mineral line, at least like make a force of. Oh, there's a lot of Corsairs in the line. If you can snipe this probe, that would be great. He delayed. Oh, he throws it down in the last second.
Yeah, but I think they're not long for this world now. Oh, wow, they actually do get away, messing up the patrol micro with the Corsairs a little bit.
Micro? Corsairs?
Yeah, that's a foreign concept for you, but
yeah, we see another race coming up for Striker. Yeah, this is exactly the type of game Striker likes. You know what I mean? Where it's
100%.
He's in his zone right now. You can tell just by you see him adding macro hatcheries, you see him adding bases. The Lurker is right in the Protoss face. Unlurker is right in the Protoss face. Striker looks comfortable, man.
Yeah, but he is down like 40 supply. This is a really scary army. He's still waiting for the. Oh wow! If he can pick these,
yeah,
that's really good. But he did get some storms off there.
This is a huge army.
If he can stop these, if he just sits on top of these Lurkers, this is a really scary position for Striker, to be honest.
Yeah, Striker. Yeah, he needs to move these Hydras from the bottom and help defend upright. This push might kill Striker, dude. But there's no observers, so you can't reinforce this army here. He split up the map with these Lurkers in the middle, but TT1 might be able to snipe a hatchery and a Hydra den before, but he can't run with these Zealots either. Like, where are they gonna go?
Well, Zealots are very resilient. They can still run through those Lurkers, but they take out the third base hatchery there, and doing quite a bit of damage. Like, so they were sitting on top of those Lurkers. I'm actually surprised they didn't get any Lurker kills, but they delayed those Lurkers. They made them stay there on the high ground while the rest of the army was doing work at his third. Zealots are going into the natural, and Zealots are taking out this fourth now. I don't know if they're actually going to kill the hatchery, but they killed 4 or 5 drones, I think. So doing a lot of work despite that, not the setback of not having the observers. And TT1's third is up now. It's pretty low on defense, but still, he's already transitioning into Dragoons. He does have observers out now, and his army is looking quite healthy.
Yeah, no, TT1 playing fantastic. I actually had thought that those Zealots weren't worth it, but looking at the positioning now, like I think it was a good move. I mean, yeah, he once those Zealots were past there, he had to commit, and he got a lot done. But definitely evening up the game, getting his third up. If Striker needs to drone up again, I think, and really start macroing. Maybe he got a little greedy there. Too many macro hatcheries, too many drones. Needed more units by that push. And also, I think he had a couple of units idling on the bottom. Not idling, I think they were blocking a choke right around here. But he needed to move those up earlier.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. I think maybe it was, wow, GGing already. Wow, that's surprising. I guess he didn't see the army, so he had lurkers set up, but it's so hard to mop up an army when it gets into that small choke there.
Yeah, TT1 attacked right at the right time. I think Striker got his lurkers out just a little too late. We saw him morphing and then canceling a morph. If he had those lurkers up a little earlier and had them sitting in his third, he would have been fine. He had a very strong position leading up to that point. But now TT1 forces an ace match. So that's really exciting because now winner takes all, man. We got a 2-2 tie here.
Yeah. I mean, wow. That was such a convincing victory. I actually thought that game was going to be a lot closer, especially after the beginning.
Ace is going to be on Eclipse, which is pretty much the fairest map despite your propaganda. But who do you think?
Well, I think Zerg has about a 20% win rate on Eclipse, so...
It's literally 50, but never mind. Who do you think is going to be sent out? I'm thinking it's going to be Hawk and Scarlet.
Honestly, I don't know. I do think that Zerg is disadvantaged against Protoss on Eclipse. All jokes aside. But yeah, I don't know. I also think that Scarlet, probably her weakest matchup right now is PvP, because a lot of it is just like experience based.
Mm-hmm.
So, and she just doesn't have the just the playtime and experience under her belt with all the weird stuff that Protoss can do.
But though, it's going to be Hawk and Scarlet on Eclipse, man. Ace match.
Yeah, let's see if Hawk can bring it back for the second victory tonight.
I'm actually more excited for this because on Eclipse you can't really go for that Camp Zerg style, not as well as you would on something like I forgot the name of that map, but Ultimate Stream or any 4-player map. Really, when you're talking about a 2-player map, yeah, you can't really camp on another natural. So we're probably gonna see more of an aggressive battle style from Hawk here, which makes for way more fun observing, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I do know that Hawk is... I mean, he still plays the same style, his same like slow, patient, methodical style, even on Eclipse. But yeah, he can definitely play the so-called Battle Zerg, the heavy layer Hydra style.
For sure. I'm excited to see how Scarlet plays on Eclipse. We saw her playing very, very, very greedy in the last game. Let's see if she continues with that style. She did get punished for it, right? So I want to see if she's going to be able to get she can play a little more traditionally with respect to...
I feel like she's going to go gate expand. I don't think she's going to try to Nexus first again. I think that was like a calculated risk because she expected early greed from...
Nexus first was fine. The problem was that she went forward. The gateway before Forge.
Right. But I'm just saying I don't think it's going to happen because it's not the same type of map. So she's not going to be expecting a kind of like hatch first, like early... kind of more greedy builds. I think she's probably going to be expecting like overpool.
Right, no, 100%. On this map, I expect either a gate first or a forge first into cannon rush, right? But it's assuming that the Zerg goes hatchery first in that scenario. I'm talking about like the second round of decisions where you're talking about what is my forge timing, right? Do I build a core instead of a forge for that mini level of like appalling, greed? And I've seen she's the closest foreigner I've seen that tries to play super greedy. So I just want to see if she.
I don't know. What I'm thinking is that her early game is going to be much more on point, obviously, and I think her build orders are really crisp. I think her early aggression and her micro is really good. So it all depends on whether Hawk can like weather that early and mid game storm. I think if it gets to late game, it's kind of a toss-up, but I think Scarlet actually has the advantage in early and mid game.
Yeah, she has a pretty flawless early mid game, I think. And we even saw like from the position she was in, she had a really good fight against Hawk. So this is probably one of the best matchups you can have in NA right now in the current scene. It would be Scarlet versus Hawk. So I'm hyped as fuck.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And we're coming in to Eclipse. We have Scarlet as a blue Protoss in the top right. The top right is slightly a better position, I think, for Protoss on this map. And then we have Hawk as the red Zerg on the bottom left on Eclipse, man. And yeah, I was watching this video. You can actually get a gate up at 109. You can do a 9 gate on this map. I'm going to see if Scarlet tries for that or what her timing is if she does end up doing a 9 gate.
Yeah, it's actually really disappointing to me that Protoss can apparently boost their stuff too. Or is it boosting or is it just optimal mining?
I think it's optimal mining. I don't think we can really boost. Hawk says we can, but you know, Hawk doesn't really think through his things sometimes. And we see this probe is Holland's gonna get up like a second late, but she is doing sort of the more optimal mining. So let's see what time this gateway goes down.
It's actually really funny that Hawk and TT1 are both on the same team because I feel like both of them make the same kind of like, you know, little funny statements about, you know, the game that, you know, I don't hear from other people.
110, really, really good.
Wow.
Sick. For context, most players will get it down at 113, like almost every player. So that's really sick. So having a Zealot 3 seconds earlier is huge when you go 9 gate. Does that hurt your feelings a little bit, Keen? Same thing, but the Zealot is 3 seconds earlier.
Yeah, no, it's really, really sick, actually. I totally agree. 110 is really, really impressive.
About as good. I think that pylon in the natural got down like a half second too late. Otherwise, it would have been 109, which means she knows absolutely. She knows what she's doing, is what that means. This is sick.
Yeah. I feel like Scarlet is the type of player who probably like practices build orders in single player and like really irons out everything. So she has optimal mining no matter what.
Oh, for sure, absolutely. And that's just one of the millions of little things you've got to do to be this level of good, man. And this is just the stuff we notice. Like, there's a lot of other stuff that we don't even know she's doing. Trade secrets. But we see the first Zealot coming out. Interested to see how many Zealots she makes before Nexus. You know, see how greedy she goes. We see four Lings and a drone. So we should expect to see maybe a move out with the second Zealot. Definitely want to force more Lings out if you're Scarlet. Oh, she's faking going back, but she's actually sending the Zealot up to the north. So she showed the Overlord that she was going back, but there's a Zealot on the map. Really clever stuff here.
Yeah. Just keeping the Zerg uncertain and having that kind of threat out is really, really important.
Yeah, and so there's going to be 2 Zealots coming into 2 different locations. One probably at the third, and one towards the natural. So yeah, I mean, Hawk is probably going to try to engage this Zealot coming out from the natural, and he's going to have to run all the way back to deal with the other Zealot. So really, really clever. And all Scarlet's doing is just forcing. You see the Zealot block on the ramp. So these Lings aren't even going to get much done. And so sick moves by Scarlet.
Yeah, Hawk should catch this Zealot.
He's making a lot of Lings.
Wow, just running by that Zealot with all those Lings. He's really going to try to just put pressure on this gateway. He should take too much damage from one Zealot. Getting that damage down on the gateway is actually really scary as Protoss. But yeah, I don't know. She has, 3 Zealots at home.
Yeah, I think she's fine. She's put down the forage before the gas, so she's not being too greedy. Her cannon's going to get up on time. She's just going to be more active about preventing the hits on the gateway. And that current Zealot positioning should be fine for that. So I think Scarlet's in a great position here. I think it's about even.
Oh my god. Oh, he could have actually... Oh no, there was a probe there.
Silly. This is Scarlet, man. It's not one of these ladder Protosses that you beat. And yeah, so she's got a Zealot on the map. Yeah, she's in a great position. She put the forward down before the gas too.
Yeah, these 4 Zealots, I assume Hawk saw these. I thought he was actually angling to go 3-hatch Hydra for a second, but it looks like it was just an idle drone actually. Going for Link speed first, but maybe 3-hatch Hydra after speed? No, okay.
And then Scarlet sees that the there's no run by. She had a probe and a Zello blocking for so once she sees there's no Lings out on the map, they're just gonna try to defend. She sends the other 2 Zealots out, so she's constantly like evaluating and adjusting her decisions. As you can see, it's pretty sick to see it in front of you. And yeah, at the end of the day, like there's about a dozen Lings she forced out, and she hasn't sacrificed a single probe cycle. So really good moves from Scarlet.
Ooh, getting really nice trades on those Lings. Hawk was a little idle right there, but he should clean these Zealots up, but there's no way he's going to let them get away for free. I'm actually curious about what Hawk is teching to, though. It seems like he has a lot of gas for very delayed tech.
A really good stutter step micro for Scarlet here. But yeah, I'm a little confused as to what Hawk is up to here as well.
Okay, it does look like he's going for 3-edge Hydra. A little delayed, though. But yeah, he should clean up these Zealots. It looks like Scarlet already has a Stargate on the way. So I'm expecting that this won't do very much at all. But maybe he can force some more cannons. He can snipe the gate, maybe the forge. And I expect he's just going to try to snipe things. He's not going to go all in here. The one saving grace for Hawk right now is that Scarlet just wasted a ton of Zealots. So if he does get up to like a quick 4 or 5 hatch, timing before lair, if he really goes hard on the Hydras, he could potentially have a timing here to bust.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Hawk, he did make a lot of, and we see the +1 air coming up, I assume. That can't be range, right? It could be. I've seen Scarlet do a similar build where she just makes a bunch of units, with range and speed, but it's probably +1 air. We see Hawk going in for this Hydra pressure, probably going to try to snipe this forge here and go into the mid game. But I kind of think it's even. I know you said that Scarlet wasted a bunch of Zealots, which is definitely true, but she also did force out about over a dozen Lings, right? More than
that. No, I totally agree. I don't think Scarlet's at a huge disadvantage. I just think I think that wasting all those Zealots isn't ideal, but
yeah, you just want to force out these cannons. You don't even necessarily need to kill us here.
Yeah, honestly, he could just stop at like maybe even this amount of Hydras is fine, but
yeah.
The fact that he doesn't have a lair yet leads me to believe that he wants to go a little harder on the Hydras.
See another Hatcher going up at the 3rd. Okay, so +1 is already done, right? Or no, it's not. So she's probably just got a forge in the main and just assumed she was gonna lose this forge. Yeah, so she started a forge in the main. Yeah, there's no point in starting the +1. It's just gonna get killed.
It's a little bit of an awkward position though, because she is only on 2 gateways right now, and yeah, I'm gonna lose this forge. Wisely just ditching that forge and starting +1 on the in base. But it's gonna be quite a while before she has Storm. Hawk is going into lair now, and this is, I don't know, it's kind of this is just really scary for Scarlet.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Scarlet in a similar position in the last game against Hawk, where she had 2 gateways for a little while, and then she went up to 8 gateways. So I think we'll probably see something similar here. We saw her cancel her +1 air on the Cybernetics Pro, and she realized this is just Hydra, and she realized there's no lair on the map. So yeah, Scarlet making some really good dynamic decision, but that's a lot of cannons. And yeah, she's probably gonna go up to another 2 gateways here. Templar Archive just starting. Yeah, she's definitely in a rough position here.
Yeah.
Oh, we see more Hydras though. And
yeah, so the thing is, so it's a lot of Hydras from Hawk for sure, but he's not, I mean, so Pseudo is pointing out that he is a little light on drones in the main and the natural, but at the same time, like, his economy isn't that bad considering he could just start droning right now, but he's still pressuring the Protoss. Like, Protoss is just now getting all of these gateways up, so the pressure is off a little bit. The Templar Archives is down, but Storm isn't finished yet. That is going to be a lot of Zealots. It's probably going to be safe, given all the, 6 cannons? 7 cannons? But still, I think Hawk is in a really nice position here. There's only 8 supply difference. Hawk doesn't have to worry about any kind of aggression anytime soon. He can just drone to his heart's content for quite a while. Take a 4th.
Yeah, he's got plenty of time before 1, Storm is done. 2, these High Templars have enough Storm. And 3, she has other units, sort of protect the High Templar. So Hawk, this is sort of a Hawk's time to drone as hard as he can, and then switch over and sort of, what do you think, like a Hydra lair for mid game? On
Eclipse, yeah, most likely, I would say. It looks like he is very well saturated now at all of his bases.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any Evo chambers, right? Or is it? Am I just missing it?
Yeah, he's had that Evo up for a while, so +1 should be finishing for Hydras soon.
Got it. Yeah, so it looks like he's just going to place her with Battle Zerg. And we know that Scarlet feels very comfortable just making an obscene amount of High Templars. And so let's see if she goes for that similar route. She got a lot done with it, a lot more than I would have expected last game. I assume Storm is done now. Yep, there it is. He got those Hydras in hold position. He's got to be really careful with these.
Yeah, that Storm doing a lot of damage to 3 Hydras, killing 1. It wasn't the greatest, but it wasn't too bad.
It's okay. She'll just make 7 more High Templar, dude. No worries.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, moving armies around before you have a lot of Dragoons is very, very hard. Even with like a million Zealots, like you've mentioned before, small groups of Hydras can just, do a little bit of guerrilla warfare and just like pick High Templars off, or at the very least make the Zealots move back and delay.
Right here. This is exactly why, I did doing this move. I was sort of tough, but really good response from Scarlet.
Great Storm. A little bit of misplay by Hawk, just letting those die for free. But at the same time, he's delaying this a lot. He is getting lurkers out, but observers are perfectly timed by Scarlet.
Yeah, we saw her put the Robo up early, and yeah, definitely a little bit of a misplay from Hawk. I think he could have gotten at least 1, maybe 2 of those High Templar, but you saw they didn't commit to targeting, and then they just got strong. I think they got stuck maybe. When you shoot something that's right outside of your range, they actually stuck.
Yeah, it's really annoying.
2 High Templar left. But yeah, she protects them perfectly. And Dragoons are finally out, and now she's setting up for it there. So she's, she took sort of a rough situation and transitioned, pretty flawlessly into the mid game here.
Yeah, 100%. And this is a pretty scary looking army, but Hawk has lurkers out already. Surprisingly, his +1 isn't finished yet. I think he might have gotten that a little late.
Yeah. Scared for Scarlet here because she has 2 Storms, maybe 3 here. Well, actually, she has a really large army, but so does Hawk. Yeah, so I don't know. It looks pretty even, but those Storms are going to have to hit, especially when you only have 2 High Templar.
Yeah. I don't know. This position is giving me a little bit of anxiety as Zerg, honestly, because setting up the lurkers right there. Oh God, no. Pretty good Storm, yeah.
No, I don't think so. I think when you.
Oh wow! If he can,
that's a good Storm.
That was a great Storm. Even though it only killed a few Hydras, it damaged so many, and completely stopped the aggressive stance from Hawk there.
I think Hawk is not really using all of their Hydras. There's like a whole control group of Hydras sort of a little more left of the screen. Yeah, I mean, I feel like he can be more aggressive. I'm not sure, but let's see, man. Charlotte does have a large Dragoon army now. She's at like 14, 15.
Oh my God! If he can get a pincer with 3 flanks here, wow!
She doesn't have any more Storm, dude. I think this is it. He just killed her entire army.
Oh my God, that was an amazing attack from Hawk. What a flank! That was so well done.
That was perfectly done, dude. Wow, that's why he had those on the left. He had them come up the top, and then he had them come up, another group come on the high ground. Maybe he doesn't know now. He knows about the 3 o'clock, but he just doesn't care. He's just gonna set up a contain.
And the fact is, it might seem like it's kind of a disadvantageous position to set up a contain when when Protoss already has a 3rd up, but if he can just, this Zealot is actually going to be really annoying to delay this 4th, but if he can keep just even a small amount of lurkers there to delay the Protoss army, and he can just decide, like he'll force the tempo of the game here, so he can commit Hydras to go kill the 3rd, or he can just keep containing the Protoss and eventually kill the natural.
What's worrying me is that she just made 1 High Templar just now, and that one doesn't have Storm quite yet, and it's not going to for a while. You need Storm to be able to break out from this 3 minutes from now. You know what I mean? Because she's not going to break out with this now, so you need to just start setting up for your push. That's going to happen later, and this is a rough position for Scarlet.
Does she even have Storm at her 3rd? Or I wonder if Hawk can actually just go bust that. She is adding a bunch of cannons now, but she's kind of trapped. Like, she can't just run through those lurkers, or she'll just get cleaned up and die. He can just go kill that 3rd right now, honestly. But I don't think he realizes that.
Templar too, like she had that just idling in the front. Hawk just has a huge. I don't think he even cares about this 3rd anymore. That's what it seems like. If he can set up this commanding contain, like it's over.
I mean, it is. I feel like you do have to do something, but I don't know. He has such a strong economy. He's actually ahead in supply right now. He is getting his fourth up now.
Ahead
Wow.
20, not even just ahead in supply. Like he's got a man move. Hawk is
Oh, that was an amazing storm though, but I'm not sure if that was enough.
not enough. Yeah, you need like 4 of those storms just to even this game, maybe. But in looking, Hawk is perfectly spreading his lurkers. You have to use 2 storms and just to kill 1 lurker, or 2 storms in a dragoon shot. But she doesn't have enough storms or army at all. She's got about 10 zealots, 3 dragoons, like nothing.
I'm actually surprised she's so low on gas because she did get the 3rd gas up, but it seems like she just doesn't have enough to make both dragoons and High Templar out of all of her gateways.
She got an absurd amount of observers, I think. I don't know how many observers are stacked over there, 3 or 4 maybe. But yeah, this lurker line is deep.
Yeah, trading a lurker for some storms and a couple dragoons, I think, is definitely a great trade here. I mean, wow. Yeah, I think, I don't know, it's really hard to break out of a contain like this. This is terrifying as a Protoss player.
Yeah, this feels very dominating by Hawk here. This is insane. Like this lurker line goes to the middle of the map. And so yeah, Scarlet pulling out a shuttle, and we saw from the last game she fights, right?
This is gonna get spotted though. Okay, so it's just zealots.
Didn't know blinder. Oh no, it does get spotted yet.
So nice little move, but Hawk has amazing map vision right now. This is exactly what you want to see from a Zerg player. And there's no way this is gonna do anything.
No man, it's the worst feeling when you have a bunch of dragoons and you're storming, right, and you get past the first lurker line and you realize there's 3 more lurker lines.
Yeah.
And you're mined out now.
And then behind the lurker lines, there's actually 40 Hydras.
Yeah, because by the time you did that, they have 8, 9 hatcheries they're macroing from, so it doesn't even matter.
Oh my god, look at that army just getting obliterated.
Such a difficult position to play from, honestly. And Hawk is dominating. Right?
Yeah, the thing is, I mean, Dragoons just melt the Hydras. It's not even close. It's actually really unfair.
Yeah, I agree. Unfair is a good way to put it. Yeah, no, I don't see Scarlet's answer here. She would need to figure out how to take another base and do obscene damage with
my god, is Hawk gonna offensive hatchery?
Like a lurker, like a hatchery contain?
No, that was just a myth rally. Okay, yeah.
Hawk is a gentleman. We see, Scarlet trying to just evaluate her options, but that's going to get spotted as well. And there's not even a hatchery down in the bottom right bases, so it must be a storm drop maybe, a DT. Okay, but he's not even going there. And I think before, don't take more bases than you need. Which I'm not one of those things. I'm not sure I agree with, but you see that happening here. He's not just taking a 5th and a 6th hatchery for no reason.
Right. And God, how does it feel for you when you're running a shuttle to go do a drop and it just passes 1 overlord, and it passes a 2nd overlord and a 3rd overlord, and it's just every single time you get spotted, like, do you just get the sinking feeling in your stomach, like, oh my god?
No, I just double commit. I keep going and it works.
Oh, okay. Well, when I'm dropping personally and I get spotted several times, I'm just like, oh my god, what am I even doing? I should just turn back right now and just quit the game.
I just waved to everybody. It's like
never show my face again.
And we see Scarlet doing a move out. This might be her last hurrah here. She has a lot of dragoons. She's got, I don't know what her upgrades are sitting at, probably 1-1 or 2-1.
And she taps out GG. God, that contain was just amazing. Yeah. Hawk just playing out of his mind. I honestly thought Scarlet was kind of the favorite because she's been doing so well, and she's, as far as I know, she's been dominating all of the top North American Zergs. But Hawk just showing that he still is by far the best ZVPer in North America, and just 2-0ing Scarlet tonight, leading the Dogecoin Millionaires to a 3-2 victory.
No, you smug Dogecoin Millionaires, never losing. Who knew it was such a flawless coin? By Doge.
Seriously.
Hawk showing a really, really sick ZVP. We've always seen that ZVP is probably his best matchup in the games I've seen. And he's just showing it here. And Scarlet's no joke, man. I heard she's been wiping the floor with a lot of foreigners. So it's just sick to see Hawk staying on top of his game here.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to see more of both of these players, though. Scarlett went 0-2, but I don't think that's indicative of her skill. I can't wait to watch her in the coming weeks. I think she's going to really surprise everyone.
And she's a competitor, dude. After this, she's gonna just practice more and
yeah, absolutely. I mean, she studies replays, like literally studies. She'll go into replays and just like, I think Crossy mentioned one time he was like looking at his friends list and she was probably just AFK or something, but she was like studying a replay for like an hour. I mean, she will not take these lightly, and she'll definitely come back. I fully expect her to show a dominating presence in the rest of this Turf Wars.
Sure, man. Scarlett is a sick talent.
But yeah, I mean, super sick. I mean, I'm really disappointed, honestly, that Hit 'em Up and Dragon didn't end up getting played. But other than that, really, really crazy games.
And as a result, Jaeyoon and Sugo, right? Well, I guess.
Yeah. I would have loved to see Jaeyoon. Well, see, Sugo is inactive, and Jaeyoon is basically inactive, right? Like he doesn't even play Zerg anymore, so probably be a pretty even match.
That's true. I mean, Jaeyoon's Zerg is definitely a little bit inactive. In Sugo for sure. That would have been fun to watch. Plus, you have just big NA personalities.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think we're going to be having anyone come in for an interview today. I think we're going to be waiting until maybe the playoffs to do something like that. But yeah, I think that'll just about wrap it up today. I just want to once again thank everyone for donating and helping us reach our goal for Turf Wars 2, and also mention again that we are going to be running the second Rogue City Rumble, a North American Star League 1v1 event, probably right about after or shortly after Turf Wars Season 2 ends. So if you're interested in that, you want to see more North American events, and you want to support our North American players, please consider donating for that.
Yeah, and yeah, watching games, dude. And there's only going to be more of this sick NA play, man.
Yeah.